Disneyland is now out of reservations to visit Star Wars Galaxy's Edge before June 24th, 2035. Disney's Hollywood Studios has debuted a new logo with more circles in it than the park has rides. Or is my mic actually on? Do you have this figured out now?
Yeah, your mic's on.
You're just far away from it.
Good to be back.
I'm far away from them. Fun. Jason, enjoy your dinner. The Adventurers Club was resurrected by WDW on the beach. Next up, the great movie ride made of sand.
I hate sand.
That's worse. It's
You've
everywhere.
seen, this is going to be the worst show. You've seen WDW News Today. Now it's time for WDW News Tonight.
Live from the WDW NT studio in Orlando, Florida, it's WDW News Tonight with Tom Corliss and Nick LaCicero. I'm Michelle Wargo. Now, here's your host, Tom Corliss.
Real applause.
Now I can't hear anything.
Real applause.
I'm Tom Corliss.
Yeah, it started just like Oprah.
I'm Tom Corliss. This show now starts at 9:08 every week. Please send your hate mail to Jason, who continues to do dumb things. Yes, thank you for the lovely introduction, Michelle. Thank you.
Most welcome.
Lots of people in the studio. Of course, Nick is here. Cameron, the boy. There's the
Wave,
boy.
Nick.
Hey!
They're on a crappy camera. Again, thanks to Jason. Let's all thank Jason once more.
Thanks.
Thanks,
And
Jason.
then also,
Jason.
Jessica and Pete are with us.
Hey!
Thanks for being here, because some people are still in town from Stage 89. We'll talk a lot about Stage 89 for those of you who missed it a little later in the show. But let's get started now. The news!
News!
Brought to you by the Lost Bros.
Everybody sounds weird.
Yeah, something's
Yeah.
wrong.
Something's off, right?
Something's
What's
wrong. Everything's
going
I'll
on?
wrong.
figure it out. Just keep
Hopefully
Oh.
soon the show will be off. That would be the best
It's
outcome.
blame it on the weather.
I blame it on the Diffendall.
Blame it on.
Brewing.
Disney's Hollywood Studios has debuted a new logo, and it's pretty controversial. Most guests do not like it. Well, hopefully you all like the new WDW News Tonight logo a little better.
So good. It's so
Oh man, that is something.
Thank you, Rob.
That's a thing.
You're-
That took 6 months, and another 6 months of market research before that. So, a lot of hard work.
Done
went
by
into that.
wargoworks.com.
We need that to be. I think that's
Very black.
that's a lie, but I'll let you plug whatever you just.
No, the market research.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes. They found that people only like the top half of Nick's face. That was what came
So
back.
good.
Can we put that back up for a
It's
second?
because he's a G.
Dude, we're gonna make this. Oh man.
It's the best
Yeah.
part of me.
So this needs to be a shirt, right?
Yeah.
I think
I
it
want
is.
that on a mug.
I want
A
I
mug?
want that on a mug.
Okay.
Like a travel
Mug of
mug.
the week?
Yeah.
The mug of the week is a hand.
That needs to be a spirit jersey.
A spirit jersey?
Yeah.
Speak into the mic. Speak into the mic.
It needs to be a spirit jersey.
You can't.
We have to
If you move the
amplify it
mic
as
towards
it
her,
is.
she talked lower than the first time.
We need to turn your mic up as it is.
Cluck like a chicken.
No.
Oh, that
Yeah,
happened
remember
at
that from
Sci-Fi.
today?
Can we not?
Anyway.
Alright, I'll move it.
Yesterday-
You look
And
afraid.
we're back.
And we're back. Yesterday marked the 30th anniversary of Disney's Hollywood Studios, and Disney celebrated with one part of a cavalcade every 10 minutes.
Ugh.
Also, Indiana Jones fought some guys, then they were on his side again and drove him around, and then he fought them again. I don't know how that works, but all right.
My family.
Mark Daniel made sense of all of it. Disney executives then decided to progressively announce things to less and less fanfare until the new logo was met with an audible groan. It's not a joke, that's what happened. Also met with an audible groan was all of the specialty food items for the anniversary. The cardboard churros, those are great. Yeah, no beloved items or attractions from the past were represented in food form, but there was a sorcerer's hat dessert. Yeah. The one positive, this time you could demolish it.
Oh.
It's a dessert.
Because you demolish desserts?
Thanks, Pete. I appreciate your effort. The show's already gone. We can't save it. It's over. Michelle's doesn't like something.
I'm trying to fix his microphone because he doesn't sound right.
They all sound
They
wrong.
all- yeah.
Something
Everyone
is
sounds
wrong with
Something's
everything.
feeding into the board that, we'll figure it
Yeah.
out during the break.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We always do.
You sure it's not one of the cameras has its audio on?
That's what I'm thinking.
He can turn that
None
off.
of our cameras have audio.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Some of our cameras don't even work. So.
Maybe it's the webcam.
Oh. Okay. The mini.
Ah.
I apologize. This is the worst produced episode of all time.
Ooh.
The mini parade features appearances from the cast of Voyage of the Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast live on stage, and the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. That does explain why it was called the "Oh My God, Those Are the Things You Kept" cavalcade. You know, we're in an age of abundant projection-heavy screen-based attractions at the Disney parks, and there's no signs of turning back anytime soon, with attractions like Runaway Railway and Remy's Ratatouille Adventure coming soon to Walt Disney World. Well, beyond these announced attractions, Disney has plans to build a ride in what they call a black box that would rely heavily on screen and projection technology, allowing the theme of the entire ride to be changed in just weeks, if not days. Yeah, it's called Fast and the Furious Supercharged.
Such a trash.
Bad ride.
Yeah. The ride would be trackless, themeless, imaginationless, and budgetless,
No.
featuring free-roaming vehicles that could easily be reprogrammed, like Bob Chapek. Why they haven't reprogrammed him yet is beyond me. But with screens and projectors making up most of the attraction, scenes could be altered possibly overnight from one version to the next. The idea here is that a ride could be changed from one intellectual property to a more current IP in little to no time. The black box term comes from the park crashing and burning, and from all of us trying to figure out how this happened. Yes. The black box can also refer to the inside of Bob Chapek's head.
Oh. I got one.
He came up with the logo, I think. It's essentially, so the attraction is essentially a giant warehouse with projection and screen surfaces. Think of it as a blank canvas. Like every Imagineer. There will be.
Taking shots at my
You
imaginary.
should try. There will be little to no physical props in the attractions. They could change them over faster at any time. It's unclear where in Disney's Hollywood studios this will be going, but it should replace something you love. That's what.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Probably Tower of Terror. Go ahead.
Oh, I think I got Pete on.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Hey,
I think
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
still not.
here I am.
It's still not right, but
No, there's something
better.
very
It's
wrong.
nice to be here.
Back to this big cup.
Oh, that was awesome.
Get ready to celebrate the Circle of Life with a new limited-time dining experience inspired by The Lion King. Starting June 30th, 2019, join Disney as they toast the popular film at Jiko the Cooking Place at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. Jiko, of course, transports you to the heart of Africa with its vibrant spices, crackling wood-burning ovens, and those loud kids who came with the family in board shorts. Starting June 30th. Come on. Starting June 30th.
That's me. I'm laughing at myself. I'm the family in board shorts.
He's wearing them right now.
I am.
Yeah, can confirm.
Again.
Confirmed.
Starting June 30th, you'll be able to partake in an exclusive 3-course menu crafted as a one-of-a-kind culinary celebration of Simba's story. So your food will come out alive, appear to have then been killed, and then be found alive, only to come back and throw you off of a tall rock.
I get it.
Came early tonight.
Yeah, it did.
Remember.
Who
Be
you are.
prepared.
I'm going to throw Jason off a tall rock.
Simba one.
Simba one.
Simba one.
I missed that.
Butchers. As the dinner progresses, wildly talented musicians will join the fun with vibrant African melodies like The Lion Sleeps Tonight, Hakuna Matata, and 76 trombones.
What?
That we used that way too early.
Each dish follows our lion prince as he grows up, highlighting each stage of his life through unique flavors and spices. You'll start your meal off with the I Just Can't Wait to Be King starter, a dish featuring young Cedar Creek clam malata, potatoes, pomegranate, and a bone marrow finish. This dish symbolizes the playfulness of Simba's joyous childhood, with potatoes and clams, and his desire to one day become king. Man, I just can't wait for food poisoning. Moving on to the main event, be prepared to tell them you are on the Disney dining plan. Choose from 2 entrees, a bone-in ribeye with hibiscus, nettles, and we don't know what this is, fregula?
Whoa.
On lobster saucity with red
Fergoul.
or lobster.
Excuse me. It's Fergoul.
We can't say that. Oh man, or lobster saucity with red shrimp, squid, mussels, and fragrant rice.
This rice smells delicious.
Man. These dishes are inspired by the Erie Elephant Boneyard and Simba's courage to persevere
Yay.
through trials and tribulations. And if you really want to persevere through trials and tribulations, try Tony's at the Magic Kingdom. And of course, the third course, Hakuna Matata, celebrates balance as Simba grows up and learns what is truly needed to successfully lead the Pride Lands. This dessert features caramelized orange, chocolate, and playful foliage. Everything needed to survive in the Pride Lands. Finally, you can finish off your evening with Can You Feel the Love Tonight by making out right on the table.
What?
Time. It's beautiful. It's the circle of life.
Are they taking reservations? Sounds fantastic.
This limited time fixed menu will be available during the dinner period at Jico, the cooking place, starting June 30th, in addition to Jico's regular menu. Pricing is $65 per guest, or $60 less than a Disney After Hours ticket. Tax and gratuity not included, with the option to add your choice of 2 levels of wine pairings at an additional cost, because money. Phantom Manor has returned to Disneyland Paris after 16 months. Also returning to Disneyland Paris after 16 months, guests.
Hey!
That's the news! Michelle, tell them who brought
That
us
was
the
real
news.
short. Well, Tom,
God.
the news is brought to you by the Lost Bros. They make apparel, posters, and home goods for theme park fans of all ages. You can shop their whole site by going to wdwnt.com and clicking their ad. Shop designs like their classic waffle and bacon crossbones, the Drink Around the World Tour collection, their princesses jerseys, and park favorites like their Dole Whip pocket tees, the Tomorrowland Drive-In Theater, and Birds Who Sing Words tour poster. Make the most of tonight's commercial breaks and shop their extensive collection. The Lost Bros, an official partner of WDW News Tonight.
Thank you, Michelle. I'll tell you what, we want to fix the audio. So we're going to take a commercial break now. And we come back, we'll talk a little bit about we'll talk a little bit about Stage 89 when we come back. Stick around tonight.
Do your servers crash more than competitors in the Bunta Eve pod race? Is your entire customer experience based on an app that has more vulnerabilities than a small thermal exhaust port located just below the main port? Well, we here at Black Spire Backup Servers have the solution for you. We know that IT infrastructure can be more expensive than turning a planet into a star-crushing weapon. Probably still cheaper than building a second galaxy's edge, am I right? That's why all of our equipment is at rates you won't believe are possible, and it's no Jedi mind trick, I assure you. We can bring these servers to our customers at prices so low that Jango Fett would bang his head on them. You might even ask if this is legal, and we'd remind you that the statute of limitations ran out a long, long time ago in a jurisdiction far, far away. So if you have some sort of very important event sign up happening on, I don't know, May 2nd, 2019, and you have a history of website issues on such occasions, maybe you should give us a call, no? Come on, Disney, you know your servers can't handle clicking power of that magnitude. Even your scruffy-looking VI pass holder events blow them up like the Zegan Death Star. Don't roll the chance cubes on this one, Bobby, I beg you. So come check out Black Spire Backup Servers and find more than just computers. We also sell project management software that can help your people-eating, crowd-splitting attractions open on time. I know, crazy, right? Black Spire Backup Servers, located in the parking lot behind the Arby's on Orange Blossom Trail. You know, the former Theme Park Connection warehouse. Come on by.
Welcome back to WDW News Tonight. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and WDWNtunes.com. Thank you for joining us wherever you're joining us from. Special thank you to everybody out there who came out to Stage 89. It was a pretty crazy, cool event. We had a good time.
Oh,
a lot of very special things happened at Stage 89. Hollywood that was pretty special. We had a number of Imagineers on hand. We'll be releasing some short clips of that soon, so you guys can check that out. And director Mickey Mouse showed up.
That was fantastic.
Yeah,
Loved
that was
him.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And we had carrot cake cookies. We had grapefruit cake.
People freaked out over Director Mickey.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Jessica was one of the people.
I
who
got my
freaked out.
FOMO. I would have freaked out too.
Meeting Director Mickey was like the highlight of my life.
Director Mickey wasn't even at
Wow.
the 30th anniversary
Can we
at
talk about
Hollywood
that?
Studios.
The Disney After Hours event, they didn't even have a single character like in a Hollywood Studios costume.
They did
I
have
thought-
Clarabelle though.
She's
Yeah, but she
on
was
all
in-
the time now. That's a common.
But there was
costume
also no
now.
throwback anything. Like I
No.
wanted some throwback characters.
There's no
or
throwback
fun
merchandise,
outfits.
Nothing. Just that D23 lithograph was the only thing that had any sort of nod to the past, even. That was crazy. But Stage 89, we had a lot of nods to the past. The Dream Flight game, we had the Dream Flight game where people ran around and filled their passport books with custom stamps we made. It was a lot of fun. We made movies in a theme park. Everybody ran around and filmed scenes and made their own little
Make him out
Hollywood
really nice.
Studios
The starring
documentary. It was
roles.
cute.
Yeah.
It was really cute.
I got to
and
play
fun.
Stu. It was fun.
I think everyone will agree that the highlight of the event
Yes.
was Pleasure Beach.
Undisputed.
Yeah, I
so
don't-
good.
Even those of us who made it a few days early.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some people who-
Michelle!
Better late than never. Better
Michelle,
late
I
than
feel
never.
so bad, but please tell everybody what
I'm
happened.
sorry.
Thanks for calling me out. I got the date wrong and showed up on the wrong day.
When did you show up?
But she was raging.
I had my own party. It was great. Last Monday I was there.
Oh.
Yeah.
But then you knew we were this Monday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had planned to come, but Monday just did not.
Okay.
No.
Well, at least you were there the Monday before.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
so hyped that I
Yeah.
and then I show up and I'm like, wait a
That's
second,
I'm
do I
just-
have the right day?
I'm just imagining that GIF of like John Travolta in Pulp
You're not on
Fiction.
mic. Start that thought over.
I'm just imagining that like GIF of like John Travolta in Pulp
Oh,
Fiction
where
where
is
he's
it?
like
Did you say GIF instead of GIF?
Yeah, it's GIF.
What is it? It's
It's
GIF,
GIF.
right?
GIF.
It's
no,
GIF.
English as
GIF
a second
is a
language.
peanut
Chill.
butter.
GIF is like
Oh,
cream. Like
oh, you don't like when we correct you, Miss Haleo, do we?
I love
Oh,
Jaleo.
pero.
Carona.
I'm like GIF.
Some
Can we
people
can we
say that.
recap?
I
Like, I
don't
mean,
know
we
Thanos
had
has had his revenge.
what happened? What'd you get?
DJ on a beach, Adventurers Club.
Original Pleasure Island DJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who didn't know how to do the countdown.
And then yeah,
Was he
that
not there at the
was
read
not
launch?
coordinated
That was-
well.
No, yeah,
You're
that's-
not going to see it in the video we're going to show you. But the midnight countdown was kind of botched. Although being as it was a WDWNT event and Adventurers Club, it kind of fit the theme pretty well.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like
Oh.
10, 9, 8, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1, and then we started again.
Yeah.
7, 9, 8.
The fireworks are still
Fireworks
going.
go up.
Yeah. And like we got to 5 and the fireworks start.
The fireworks were really cool.
The
Yeah,
fireworks
very
were
special.
on
Very
somebody's
cool.
Twitter
Yeah, so
feed.
those unaware, we did this event. It was on the Yacht and Beach Club beach. It's Shipwreck Beach, which is on Crescent Lake. And so there was ended up being a midnight countdown with fireworks out in the lagoon. We had 8 of the original members of the Adventurers Club. Their first official
Reunion?
Together?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man.
I think since the D23 event, which was 2014, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, and all I know is I saw the 8 of them start walking across that beach, and people were just freaking out. It was
Well,
one
besides
of the, most
the show they
magical
did,
things.
just having them roam around and like interact with people was
Yeah.
amazing.
Right.
Like they were doing, like
Yeah.
I forgot who, but like was doing Sand Angels, and like
Saw that.
yeah.
it was just like so good, just the atmosphere.
Yeah.
They did keep it alive. Everybody like got their own little special show. They were walking around to everybody, and they
Yeah.
got to interact with each and every person.
And then there were like things like you clearly missed things. So at one point, I walked over to the left side of the beach, and there was a lantern like that had been mounted in a sand hill, and I don't know what happened. Like clearly
Right.
someone from the Adventurers Club did something, and I don't know what it was. And there was also like drink cups on top of the lantern. I don't know what happened.
So good.
Yeah. No, but it was. I had people. We had a lot of like diehard Adventurers Club people there. We had one guy who had a wedding reception in the Adventurers Club.
That's cool.
They were the last people to ever be in the building. He was the last person out. And those people said that this was better than most nights they ever spent in the Adventurers Club. Like it was, yeah. It was a better show
Everyone got their
than
own
that.
private show and then a featured show.
Yeah. Which you didn't get if you went to the Adventurers
Yeah.
Club. It was
Yeah.
just this really special thing. Beyond that, like having the DJ and the music that was actually
And the
playing at
drinks,
the club.
we recreated the
all
drinks.
4 of the drinks. We had the Fun Meister, the Pleasure Punch, the Armadillo Punch, and the Kungaloosh, of course. Kungaloosh. Yeah. This was really amazing. But rather than tell you more about it, we do have a nice video package that Nathan put together. So for those of you who missed it, you can relive a little bit of Pleasure Beach celebrating 30 years of party and adventure, our Pleasure Island reunion event. So please enjoy this.
Congaloosh, everyone! Wonderful to see you. And then, all right.
Speak it up.
Could you tell me what he said?
Move closer.
Oh, that's what he said. All right. And then
Right by the speaker. You're too close to the speaker.
So, adventurers, come on up. Come on up, adventurers, or sit there in the hansom. Just sit right there. I think it's time, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I think it's time.
Graves,
Drums!
I'm standing right here.
Drums.
make the announcement, dear.
Make the announcement.
Make the announcement.
Now?
Now, right now.
Well, if you say so, madam. Ladies and gentlemen, our club president, Miss Pamelia Perkins, has had her 14th shot of penicillin, and she is cured.
Thank you. So that means so much to me, just all of your support. And I know you're all still standing 20 feet away, but you don't need to, all right? You don't need to.
I guess that means the bake sale is off.
Oh, sure. Although I do have a rash.
Oh, good. The bake sale is back on.
Oh, good. I like your browner.
Thank you. Graves, the other announcement.
Ah, yes, the other announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, announcing a new member induction ceremony for all new members. Those of you wishing to be inducted into the secret rituals of the Adventurers Club may hereafter refer to yourselves as membership class of 1937. Leading our ceremony is our beloved club president, Miss Pamelia Perkins.
You know, it reminds me of a time as a child.
Yes, thank you, Miss Perkins. And joining her is our club treasurer, a man who needs no introduction.
Well, here we are.
I hate you, Groves!
All right.
I hate you!
Let's do our club salute, shall we? Take your right hand, your own hand. All right, sir, thank you. Put it right here, right by the belly button. Make a couple little fishy waves. Fishy waves. Then a gesture you've all been doing tonight. And then raise your hand up and say, Kungaloosh. Put it all together.
Freeze rate, Colonel.
Now, Kungaloosh is our all-purpose word, all right? It can mean hello, it can mean goodbye, it can mean,
I've got sand in places that I shouldn't.
All right, I was going to say, how are you? But that's good. No, that's good. Okay. We don't say that anymore. All right, so let's go ahead and do a club salute. Turn to someone that you don't know, a fellow 89er, which I think is racing, isn't it? It's racing.
Did somebody say 89?
Oh, sit down. Sit down.
He was never very good at math.
Well, let's do a club. We can't say that. Let's do a club salute. Very good, 75ers. Very good.
And now, it is time for me, Professor Honesty Ram, the most important member of the club, to teach y'all the club creed.
Can't understand a word you're saying.
Should we translate? Should someone translate?
I don't know.
I don't need anyone to know that.
What's a clue?
The club! The club! See how you back! See how you back!
All right, I'll see you, boss. Tell you what.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. All right, raise your right hand and repeat after me.
After me.
I haven't started yet. No. Stop. Not yet. I haven't started yet. Are you mocking me? Are you mocking me? You're mocking me. You're mocking me.
How many people was mocking him?
I was mocking.
Yeah, a lot of
We climbed the highest mountain. Just to get a better view. We'll plumb the deepest ocean. Cause we're daring through and through. We'll cross the scorching desert. Martinis in our hand. We'll ski the polar ice cap. We'll ski the polar ice cap. We'll ski.
All right.
In tuxedos looking grand. We are reckless, brave, and loyal. And valiant to the end. If you come in here a stranger, you will exit as a friend.
Okay, so now to lead us in the club song, we need to wake up Samantha. So everyone say, free drink, Samantha.
I'm standing right here. I'm awake.
Look at her.
I'm an 89er.
Wow, you don't look a day over 50.
Somebody say 89.
Hathaway, no, it's a different thing. No.
Don't say that.
Can I join you on stage?
We
Do you
need the
mind?
song. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear
Come
it.
on, Gabby. Come on. Mr. Weehall, come on.
Cabaret singer that I am. Yeah.
Look at home, she's home. It's great to be here.
And I put the mic right in front of the speaker. We never had this.
Come on over here.
Never had some.
Come right over here, Samantha.
Sorry, what?
Come right over here, Samantha.
All right, the club song.
The club
All right. So we'll go through this twice. You all know the song. At
Oh,
least
sure,
12
just
of you
walk
do.
in front
12
of
of you do.
everybody.
The rest of you hung out at mannequins. But anyway, okay. These were the folks that hung out at mannequins and had no clue what was going on.
If you want me to, I will go get a mirror and revolve around you.
Again, halfway through the night, you got to go the other way.
Why should it be different than any other Monday?
That's why she's an 89. Okay, here we go.
Halfway through the night, she goes the other way.
Bum, ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum, bum, bum, bum.
Marching along, we're adventurers, singing the song of adventurers. Up or down, north, south, east, or west, an adventurer's life is best.
Sing it again.
Marching along, we're adventurers, singing the song of adventurers. Up or down, north, south, east, or west, an adventurer's life is best. An adventurer's life is
No, it has been so much fun being here. But as you know, at Pleasure Island, it was New Year's Eve, just really every 10 minutes. It was. We just didn't know. Yeah. So right now, it's getting close to 10 o'clock, and gosh darn it, I'm old, and it feels like New Year's.
We got to get Pamelia back to the home.
They lock those doors and you sit on the curb.
Yes, and Monday night's pudding night.
Let's whip through this.
Wow.
That's right. Happy New Year!
There you go. It was quite a night.
That was a
Yeah.
nice recap.
Quite a night,
I feel like
yeah.
I was there.
There you go.
You got it all.
I got it all.
If only you had a drink like a Kungaloosh in front of you.
Oh, I feel
So, yeah.
buzzed. It's okay.
Yeah, right? We
You
gotta learn
saved
to
those
make them at
recipes,
home.
right?
So
we
much
can
sugar.
have
I
them.
have
Yeah,
the
there's a lot of
recipes.
sugar.
Yeah,
After-
it is a lot of sugar, yeah.
After I had one of each, I moved on.
That was my plan, was to
Why
have
were you collecting
a
like
taste
other
of
people's
each.
drink
I was like, you gonna use those drink tickets?
Find and
Oh,
drink.
yeah. Give him the Big Papa.
I heard Jason was giving out extras.
Oh, they were
anyway.
flowing.
Yeah, no,
We
you
were
was-
having good
You just
times.
had to give Jason a pat on the back, and you got an extra drink coupon, from what I was told anyway. It was a fun time. So WWNT events, I think we've done some pretty cool things. We did the Great Movie Ride closing, and then obviously this week in Hollywood that was, and this. And so we have another one coming up. I don't think we have the logo. I think I forgot to tell you to prep the logo.
Yeah.
You can go find the post real quick if you want.
Sure, if you just.
Some of our events are like this one, where they're kind of a celebration of the past, and some of them, like the Great Movie Ride, are meant to mark a very important occasion, perhaps saying goodbye to something that has meant a lot to us over the years. Something that has meant a lot to a lot of people over the years is Illuminations Reflections of Earth. And as you all know, we are approaching the end of that show. That show is ending on September 30th. And so, yeah? Are you sad?
I love
Everyone's very
Illuminations.
sad, I
This
know.
is my favorite
event's
show.
gonna be a good one, though.
So, in order to mark the end of Illuminations Reflections of Earth, we are doing another event. I know we don't usually do 2 a year, but this is a special set of circumstances. So WDWNT would like to welcome you to come to Reflections of Forever. This is our event September 28th through October 1st, 2019. It includes private dessert parties and special viewing areas for both the final ever Reflections of Earth and the first ever Epcot Forever. In addition to that, we are trying to put together, we have some people lined up and some people we're starting to talk to. We are trying to put together a reunion of the creative forces behind Illuminations Reflections of Earth. So those people who put the show together, the people who scored it and creatively put it together, perhaps individuals who are behind pretty much every show that's ever been presented on that lagoon until now, should be appearing. I will have all those details for you later. I will tell you that we are not going to have the delays we had with Stage 89. We already have contracts and everything ready to go. Registration is going to open sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be very quick. But again, mark your calendars. We're going to have an incredible new game, the likes of which we've never done before on the Saturday. We're cooking up something big and fun and different for the Sunday. And then obviously Monday, would be our panel event with those creative people, and as well the dessert party for the last ever Reflections of Earth, and the day after would be the first ever Epcot Forever show, where we'd also have reserved space. So stay tuned for pricing and availability and registration information and all those things in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's going to be coming very quickly, but you may want to start making your travel arrangements now. I think a lot of the world is planning to be here for that. So if you have some FOMO for missing out on Stage 89, I would suggest...
I'm literally flying
strongly
from my brother's
suggest-
wedding to be there.
I would strongly suggest if Illuminations means something to you that you be at this event. As always with these events, we make no profit on them. We do them because I feel they're the right thing to do, and any proceeds we do end up with go to Give Kids the World, which is our now official charity for these events. So, yeah. Make sure you join us for that.
Awesome.
I'm excited. This
Yeah.
is going to
Oh,
be...
right.
It's gonna be huge.
This is going to be neat.
So excited for
Will they
this.
offer
Goosebumps.
gluten-free dessert?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There was one
Yeah.
piece of cake at the last one.
I mean, that might be what they do. I can't like do a whole gluten-free dessert lineup.
Like, I'll
I'm
have
not a
fruit
buffet
cup.
restaurant.
It's fine. No, but everybody else go to buffet.
No, they accommodate. They're pretty good for that stuff.
I'll just have to
Yeah.
tell them ahead of time.
What dessert party did you come to where there was only one thing?
The great movie read.
Oh yeah,
There was literally a piece of chocolate cake.
yeah.
He's like, oh, you're the gluten-free. Here you go.
You get a cake, yeah.
Thanks.
I don't run the bakery. I can't do anything.
Well, I think I ate popcorn. I think they had popcorn.
We also had popcorn.
Yeah, so
that's
I-
right.
I ate
It was
popcorn and I had
special
cake.
popcorn. It
It was
was
great.
the alien popcorn, the cryogenic freeze popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a fun event, though.
Yeah.
But nevertheless.
I'll see you at the bar.
We are working with Disney to do a completely themed and different dessert buffet on both evenings.
Oh, nice.
So maybe Illuminations themed for the last ever Illuminations, and maybe since Epcot Forever celebrates Epcot through the years, maybe a dessert lineup that celebrates Epcot through the years, and maybe some things that are long gone. So I think it'll be fun.
I love that smirk. It means good things are to
It
come.
means there's evil ideas cooking.
Yes.
That's what it means.
I just like Happy Tom.
I know.
That's what I heard at Pleasure Beach.
Oh,
Everyone's
his
like, oh, it's
face.
Happy Tom. He's
He's
so
so
happy.
nice.
This is what it's like whenever
Normally
it
I'd be
goes
sitting
right.
way over there.
As opposed to the beginning of the show where I yell at Jason for 20 minutes.
Jason took all the abuse.
Well, usually. And rightfully so. Anyway, Nick, why don't we take a journey to the wonderful world, not the wonderful world of animation, but the wonderful world of psychotic comments, presented by WIGS, the WDWNT Interglobe Society.
Yeah.
Don't forget the camera's right there.
Oh, yeah. I'll
Don't
just
block Ronnie.
Do my creeper over the...
By the way, Ronald Reagan was not
No.
president in 1989. George Bush was. It's correction from
Oh,
next week.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. George
no.
Bush was elected in 88. George Bush, yeah.
Right, but Reagan was still president for a little bit of... No, never mind.
January,
right?
What he
This
said,
is-
I guess
Yeah.
so.
I
Yeah.
wasn't born yet. This is
Yeah,
very
like a
important.
week.
Done. All right.
You gotta. We also gotta teach edutainment. We
Oh,
also teach
edutainment.
Edutainment.
And now for the
Comments.
uneducating part of the show.
All right. The story: temporary Toy Story Midway Mania. What? Toy Story Mania ride.
And now for Nick Can't Read.
Exit
Woody
gift shop
Lunchbox.
coming to Toy Story Land, Disney's Hollywood Studios. It's a really long title. Vanessa wrote in. I'm sure you've been told this plenty of times, but it bears repeating just so you don't forget. You are utterly obnoxious. If you believe you are so incredibly intelligent and understand all intricacies of theme parks and their operation better than the people who have been doing it for more than 60 years, perhaps you should start your own actual business and wow the world with sheer power and brilliance of your mind. Budgets change in all business projects. Scopes of projects change in all businesses. Either get over yourself or pass this site onto someone who actually likes Disney, and not as something to complain about and show off what you believe is your prowess.
Well, if we
Wow.
wanna talk
That's
about
longer
the-
than every paper I wrote in college.
If we want to talk about the brilliance of the 60-year experience of the Walt Disney Company, who closed the Adventurers Club? That would be the Walt Disney Company. And who put 300 people on a beach to celebrate the Adventurers Club? You know, 300 people in a bar at night, you'd still be open.
oh,
so-
snap.
Ooh.
What do I know? I don't know anything.
Ka-chow.
Utterly obnoxious. I love that.
Yeah.
The story new strollers rollers.
Somebody's having some convolutions tonight.
Convolution.
Share.
New stroller rolls. Carol wrote in, I think you also need a doctor's note to rent a scooter and pass a scooter driving test during peak times. Can't tell you how many times I've been rolled over.
I want to know how many times.
Stop it.
Oh,
Carol.
Carol.
What did you say? Wait, what did Jessica say?
I'm just singing Creedence.
Rolling
Oh.
down the river.
Rolling, rolling.
Rolling over my
Rolling.
feet.
Strollers gonna keep on turning.
Right in front of you so you cannot pass.
With the story, Disney Parks removing park smoking areas and new stroller limitations. Brian wrote in, the point is, smoking affects innocent people who don't smoke, whether you are indoors or not, and most people don't smoke. So why should we have to cater to those who were stupid enough to start smoking? Times have changed, buddy.
Wow.
There are several other ways for you to get your nick fix without...
One of them is
Whoa,
this show.
I was gonna say.
Hey.
Come on every week, folk, and get
I'm
your
getting my
nick
nick fix.
right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Put up the logo.
Get your Nick fix at Typhoon Lagoon.
Yeah, get your nick fix from the original G. Every week on News Tonight.
Oh,
He's an OG.
boy.
Oh, get it,
Yeah,
OG.
yeah, OG.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do I know?
They're obnoxious. Plenty of ways to get...
Oh, for obnoxious.
Plenty of ways to get your nick fixed without violating other people's rights and bodies. Such as...
A cloud of smoke. I feel violated.
Passionate
I've been
with their
violated
comments.
by a
I don't
cloud.
care about anything that much. Like,
So if you're so pathetic and inconsiderate that you can't go a day without sucking your pacifier, use one of the other methods to get your
Whoa.
drug fix and stop whining.
Moly.
I like his passion or her passion.
These are aggressive.
Yeah.
That's
tonight.
Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're
Brian.
very angry.
They have a lot to say.
Psychotic.
In your
Yeah.
Disney's Riviera Resort photo update, the Stadelberts.
What?
Stadelbert.
St. Albert?
Stadelberts wrote in. Well, I will say it again. With all of these new resorts, more bodies on Disney property. Getting to the point where it is becoming so crowded that no longer worth going there. Body upon body upon body ad infinitum.
And all these bodies of water and these other bodies.
Especially in the parks, which have not grown in size to take in all these
Bodies hit
guests.
the that's what I was thinking. Bodies hit the floor.
There you go.
Bodies upon bodies.
I don't want to be on screen.
Infinitum.
Ad infinitum.
And if you keep smoking.
Infinitum more.
Infinitum.
I wish we could hear any of your jokes.
I made her
The
giggle.
infinitum
Made
gauntlet.
her-
Why don't you make everyone watching giggle?
Into the
It's
microphone.
old. It's over.
It's
Oh.
over now.
You missed the moment.
Disney's Hollywood Studios 30th Celebration Fizz Cocktail.
Yes.
Dave C. commented.
What kind of tail?
was it?
Fizz. Celebration Fizz.
Was that on your list you showed us before?
Yeah, right, that's what I was thinking.
Never mind.
I tried
keep
all the
going.
cocktails. It wasn't bad.
Oh, I
Does
didn't
it
think it
fizz?
was good.
I don't
Like
think it was
Pop
terrible.
It's carbonated.
The standard fizz at the Sunshine Bar was better, but the margarita was my favorite of the three.
They're all fizzy?
No. They did 3 unique cocktails for the 30th anniversary. They did a margarita. They did a banana. What was it? A banana float? A banana slide?
The banana split.
Yeah, banana split.
Banana. What?
That
Banana float, banana slide.
I just was doing word
Banana roll.
association.
What other things are there with bananas?
Banana pants.
Banana phone.
Banana
Bananas
shoes.
in
Ring, ring, ring,
pajamas.
ring, 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 ring.
I'm Mr. Banana Hands.
Wow. Banana split drink. Nick, go ahead.
Dave C. wrote in, Disney keep promoting the drinking. Don't you think kids see the site and may start to believe that drinking is fine to do? Walt would never stand for this. This is a family park. Alcohol should be left out, not publicized in Disney. It's fine to promote drinking, but the poor smokers out there are being treated like second-class citizens.
He's got to talk to Brian.
This is getting a war between drinking and
So
smoking.
confused.
How about they leave the drinking in bars where you must be 21 to enter and leave smoking for adults in designated smoking areas in the park?
Wow.
I just need my Nick fix.
You know what I have to say to
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
this? You know what I say to all this? Congaloosh!
You know where you got your Nick fix? Pleasure Beach.
Oh boy.
Oh,
You came in your zoot suit.
On the article, guests will be
Silent.
allowed to visit Disneyland Paris in costume this Star Wars Day. Worf wrote in, "Awesome! I can't wait to wear my Klingon costume."
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
And finally, in the new Aladdin cupcake review, Damon wrote in, "Yes, of course, more updates on cupcakes, what the world needs. Thanks so much, WDWNT. Riveting stuff."
You're welcome.
Disney always pushing their
You have my
sugar on
reply?
people.
Huh? Do you have my reply?
You reply to these
I
comments?
replied to this.
Oh, God.
I said
No.
I said to the person, based on the number of people who read these cupcake reviews, they are a service. Those cupcake reviews are read by thousands of. We wouldn't write them if they weren't read by thousands of people.
I would just reply.
People like snacks.
Can confirm.
Every story can't be about Bob Chapek destroying our lives, so we gotta throw in some cupcakes that destroy our bodies. So violate.
Like
I have
smoking
been
and
violated
drinking
by
and
cupcakes.
I'm tired of Disney pushing sugar on us.
I've been ravaged by
Sugar is
cupcakes.
killing us. Worse than nicotine and alcohol.
By
That's actually
themed
accurate.
Cupcakes.
I know.
Ravaged.
And they're gluten. Ugh.
Yeah, that gluten.
Ugh.
Oh, I
Only
hate
one
that.
option at dessert parties.
At Illuminations, Reflections of Earth last night, nothing but gluten-free desserts.
Yes.
That'll sell tickets. Let's do it.
And Jules. Sorry.
What?
No, that was for smoking and everyone else. Never mind. Went too
Good.
far. That was it. Anyway.
And water.
Oh, wow. Wow. Man,
Now, back to the
Karen
show.
Water. Oh, goodness.
I did
gracious.
like the group of people who literally on May 1st were outside with their Juuls in the parking lot complaining how ridiculous it is they couldn't vape in the parks.
What's a jewel?
It's
Is
the
that
little
the
things they
thing?
used to vape, yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't vape.
It's a thing in your cup over there.
Yes.
Oh, those are gems, sorry.
I snapped away all the smoking section. Oh.
Sporting my body
Don't
by
worry, they'll
force.
just travel back in time and ruin everything. Anyway, I thought it was going to fall over. This isn't the best cup they've made. Why don't we take a commercial break and when we come back? Actually, Michelle's going to tell people about wigs.
Yeah,
I
there's a big
would
big
love to do
Michelle
that.
thing here.
There's
Yeah.
a big
There's a big Michelle thing.
We were talking about that
It's
before.
my
Yeah.
moment. Don't steal my moment.
Tell us about wigs.
Well,
Nick's still playing us to commercial. He doesn't care.
We're not going
Okay.
to
Let's see if she
commercial.
finishes.
I got some background music.
so WIGS, the WDWNT Inner Globe Society.
We were supposed to change this.
Not changed.
No, I hate Jason. God.
I love that picture though.
Well, if you want to support WDWNT and get early and exclusive access to content that you just can't find anywhere else, including exclusive WDW News Tonight post shows each and every week starting at just $2 a month. For more information, go to patreon.com/WDWNT or visit WDWNT.com and click the Patreon link. Join the WIGS and help make WDWNT happen through Patreon.
Thank you, Michelle. We will have a post show for you guys tonight, but stick around. More coming up.
Hello, I'm Connor Treadwell, lead creative for Disney Upper Management Solutions, or as we call it around the water cooler, the DUMS Group. Here at Disney, we've been making some big changes, including our recent new policy banning all smoking inside the parks. Now, I know that might not be the most popular decision amongst our nicotine-loving fans, but don't think for a moment we've forgotten about you. The DUMS Group is excited to announce a new Disney experience exclusively tailored for the black-lunged. The Smoking Characters Breakfast. That's right, you and your smokestack friends now have the chance to enjoy breakfast the way you like, with a cigarette or cigar in hand. But you won't be alone dragging that poison directly into your body. Some of Disney's most famous smoking characters will stop by your table to bum a cig, including Baby Herman, Cruella de Vil, the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland, Captain Hook, and Toy Story's Wheezy. Sound too good to be true? Well, don't you take my second-hand opinion for it. Here's actual guests with their experiences.
I already miss the camaraderie I found in the smoking sections at Disney. Those hidden areas weren't a place of shame, but our very own Club 33. It's nice to have that experience back with this character. Breakfast.
I met so many like-minded people during these breakfasts, and there's nothing like enjoying Disney the way Walt intended. I used to go through a pack during Carousel of Progress.
Yes, the smoking character breakfast is the perfect place to light up over some amazing themed foods, all smoked to perfection, including ham, halibut, and Gouda. And don't forget to try our special Mar Nicotini cocktail. And coming soon with the opening of Galaxy's Edge, our Death Stick dining package with guests Watto and Darth Vader. Stay tuned and happy puffing.
While you're enjoying the program you're listening to or watching right now, did you know that WDWNT.com has even more original programs you could be enjoying? Like
Dreamfinders is WDW News Today's podcast all about the creative culture surrounding Disney parks. Curious what it's like to read poetry about the Haunted Mansion? Well, we've talked to someone who has. How about what it takes to actually build a Disney castle? We've chatted with a guy who did just that. Authors, Imagineers, dancers, actors, photographers, filmmakers, and a whole lot more have all stopped by to chat about how Disney has inspired their artistic work. Dreamfinders. Episodes drop every other Tuesday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher.
4 panelists, 30 minutes, 1 week in Disney Parks news. This is Parks Center. On Parks Center, the panel and I cover the top 7 Disney Parks stories of the past week. From attraction news to transportation scandals to new food and merchandise, we'll cover it all in 30 minutes or less. You can watch us stream live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. at WDWNtunes.com, watch episodes on demand at youtube.com/WDWNT, or subscribe to the audio version of the show on your favorite podcast app.
Ride Rehab is the podcast of ridiculously reskinning, refurbishing, and even removing Disney attractions, shows, areas, and parks. Can we cram Star Wars or Marvel into anything else? Just listen and find out. Visit riderehab.com to start listening now. That's riderehab.com.
WDWNT Nerd Alert is the podcast that encompasses all things Marvel and Star Wars in a fun and entertaining format. On each episode, we take a look at the latest news, provide reviews for the latest feature films, inform you about what is going on in the comic book world, and discuss and debate original topics pertaining to the worlds of Marvel, Star Wars, and beyond. Find us on various podcast applications by searching for WDWNT Nerd Alert.
The WDW News Today podcast is the one that started them all. Join us for comprehensive history segments, heated debates, epic countdowns, and more from the Disney theme parks around the globe. Just search for WDW News Today in whatever podcast service you choose.
Last but certainly not least is WDWNT's premiere show, WDW News Tonight. Join us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. for a live, weekly audio and video show that combines the latest headlines, comedy, trending vacation topics, call-in games, and in-depth discussions to bring Disney fans a one-of-a-kind 2-hour program covering the Disney parks. If you can't catch the show live, you can always watch it later on YouTube or listen to it through your desired podcast service.
Get more info on all of these shows and more online at WDWNT.com, the worldwide leader in Disney parks news and entertainment.
Welcome back to WDW News Tonight, where we're having Mickey Premium Ice Cream Bars.
And ice cream sandwiches.
I hate the ice cream sandwich. Why would
Powerade from 2016.
I didn't know there were. I did not know there were sandwiches. I thought there were only bars.
There
so I
are
passed
only
the
bars. The
bar.
sandwiches are for fools.
You're
You
welcome.
ever had the sandwiches? They're terrible.
You're welcome.
terrible.
Do people like the sandwiches?
I would rather a sandwich over a Mickey bar.
Same.
And no, these aren't the ones from your supermarket. We got the real ones. Pete took a whole bag from Disney.
I did not
After
take.
Hours.
There was a very generous cast member who offered me an unlimited supply of Mickey bars and ice cream sandwiches, and who am I to say no? So I'll just keep talking while you chew on your Mickey ice cream bar.
How'd you get them back to the hotel fast enough?
We got him at the very end of the event last night, and Tom was going straight home, so I just handed him the entire Disney
Nice.
Parks bag and said, "Get these to a cold place."
So he held them up to his heart.
Oh!
Wow!
Good.
Oh my god.
I resurrected the Adventurers Club. Oh, dear.
We're gonna hear that until Illumination's event.
That's my new thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming up. What are you doing? Just banging bottles around.
Drinking water.
Just clickety clack.
Coming up on
That's not
next
me.
week's show, we're back on May 9th. WDWNT, the match game is back for the first time in a long time. I know it's been a long time. People miss it. Match game is back next week. Also, the Weird World Showcase food item of the week will return next week as well. We'll have a new food item from around the world at Epcot. Michelle, who brings us WDW News Tonight each and every week?
That's a great question.
Well, if you weren't busy clanging around with your bottle, you would know. Oh, look, it's up
Oh,
there.
is it the app?
It is the
Oh,
app.
look at that. WDW News Tonight is brought to you by WDWNT, the app, the official mobile application of WDW News Today. This app brings you all the latest Disney Parks news, podcasts, including WDW News Tonight, streamed right to your mobile device, park hours, videos, as well as the ability to listen and chat live on the go with this very show and many others. Download the app today for iOS, Android, and Amazon devices by searching for WDWNT or visit WDWNT.com for more information. WDWNT, the app, bringing the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news everywhere you want it.
It's anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Anywhere you want.
And that's the way you need it.
Whoops.
Anyway.
That was a good one.
'Cause you're everywhere
Did you just bring in a Michelle Branch?
Guys,
Yeah.
guys, the show's not going to
Y'all
clear.
are, y'all are
The
having
show's not
snack
going to clear
time.
YouTube. if
We
you
sound
want.
just like them.
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we are going to finish our countdown of the 30 biggest moments in the history of Disney's Hollywood studios when we come back. It's Jason playing with the wiring.
In the bathroom with flying fish.
How many times have you put a free annual pass holder magnet on your car just to have it stolen off? Introducing the Annual Pass Holder Magnet Protection Program. Through several patented systems, will ensure the safety of your free, yet irreplaceable, annual pass holder car magnet. For only one payment of $19.95, our Magnet Protection Plus is an affordable way to keep all 20 of your AP magnets on your car right where they are. With this product, you'll receive enough super glue to attach all your magnets to your car. Want a more luxurious solution? With the Patrick Hackett plan, Patrick Hackett will sit in your car and yell at anyone who tries to take any of your annual pass holder magnets.
Yo, lay off those magnets. I'm here in the car. That'll be $1,200.
With our Platinum package, one of our team members will sit in his van near your car all night long, catching the crooks in the act.
Hey, you can't have that magnet for free, but how about some of my van candy?
And for the budget conscious, there's our Gold plan, which costs only $9.99 a month. You'll get new decoy magnets each month to cover your prized magnets with. These designs include art from Disney's John Carter, Disney's Treasure Planet, Disney's Home on the Range, Disney's Mars Needs Moms, and more.
Don't you mean Mars needs cheetahs?
Oh, what a callback! Introducing the Pass Holder Magnet Protection Program, the world's most expensive way to protect free items that Disney should just be able to replace for you!
Don't make me eat all this candy alone. Call now.
We're going live.
Well, we don't have music.
We're going live.
Great.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, there you go. That's straight in the sky. You know, the magnet protection program is going to be really good for everybody who got one of these.
Oh.
I love mine.
I don't know if everybody's.
Those are very well liked.
You can't really.
Put it closer to. You got the webcam right there.
Oh yeah, we do.
Oh, that's
Oh, dear.
a magnet near a soundboard is a terrible idea.
Put that up. There we go. Stage 89 attendees and people who found us in the park on May 1st got this cool limited edition
I think
magnet.
it's
The
on
first one
the
we've
shirt.
done, our Stage 89 event magnet. Every event from now on, we're going to do one of these. But man, people are freaking out. So we
They loved 'em.
we
They're
ordered
so
250 of these, and they are gone. We have a few.
There might be
Those
a
of
few.
you who are the WIGS members who get a mailing from us on a regular basis, you'll be getting one. We did put some aside for you. You guys will also
Yay,
be
WIGS.
getting
That's probably webcam.
the
worthy,
event
too.
pins. Yeah, let's send those down.
Sending them
We'll
down.
also send you guys the 2 event pins. There is a Stage 89 logo pin, and as well, we didn't want to show these before the event. They were surprises. The Stage 89 logo pin and the Pleasure Beach logo pin, which are pretty cool.
They're cool.
Yeah. So WIGS members, those of you at those higher levels,
you
check
go.
your mail in 6 to 8 months when Nick sends it.
Just in time for
Eliminations
Christmas.
will be gone by the time you get those. Okay, so last week we started counting down the 30 biggest moments in the history of Hollywood studios in honor of the 30th anniversary, which of course was yesterday. And so tonight we need to finish with the final 15 moments. Why don't we get right into that now? This is the illustrious panel. Everybody who's here tonight.
Woohoo!
In
Yeah.
person, we're doing this
Illustrious.
again. Yes.
I feel very illustrious.
Yeah, don't you? You look
Wave,
it.
Nick.
It's the glow.
Oh, hey.
We're part of the
and you
panel.
guys.
Illustrious. Yeah.
Illustrious.
Okay, sure. All right, moment number 15. Let's get going.
That's my cue.
That is absolutely your cue.
Well, hit the date from now on.
Here we go.
1997 Star Wars Weekends debuts.
Oh.
What is it now? Oh.
That was a good O. I like Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars Weekends was a festival held annually at Disney's Hollywood Studios theme park, which included with theme park admission, and it typically occurred on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for 4 consecutive weekends in May and June. It featured appearances by cast and crew members from Disney's Star Wars franchise, created by George Lucas. Actually, pretty sad today. Obviously, Peter Mayhew passed away. In our post, we included a video from when he appeared at Star Wars Weekend. He appeared many times, but.
Oh, can you do his voice?
Not right after this week. I have no voice left.
Yeah. Very sad. That's why there's Chewbacca stuff all over the desk. But anyway, yeah. So Star Wars Weekend took place for many years. The festival began in 1997 and was also held in 2000 and 2001, and then annually from 2003 until 2015. And then that was it. But this moment is about the start of Star Wars Weekends, which I think was really important to studios. Drew a lot of people in for those years it was around.
One of my favorite parts, you mentioned it here, was the characters dressed as the Star Wars characters. So, like those.
I mentioned it, but it's in the script.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
skipped
Oh,
over
yeah,
it.
yeah. Let's see it here. Yeah. Those are some of my most prized photos. Every year, I had to do the rounds and get everyone. And normally, you had to like get in the line a couple times because like they switched out with the different characters. But I had to go around that. I love the astromech droid. I would always make sure I definitely got that one.
R2MK was the coolest.
And
For
then-
those unaware, it was a droid with mouse ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then collecting all the merchandise. Like, that was my favorite merchandise. The Disney characters as Star... I'm wearing the Donald Duck Revenge of the Fifth shirt right now.
Yeah.
Donald Duck as Darth Maul, yeah.
I don't wear them
So,
anymore.
yeah.
Because I want to keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad wearing them now.
So, yeah, it was, like, awesome. Loved it.
Yeah. It's a shame.
I'm in an Ewok.
You didn't know what an Ewok was.
But
neither did Cameron because he wrote Ewoks with an apostrophe S on it.
I don't know how to spell. I knew what an Ewok was. I just didn't pass Florida English.
Which, by the way, is the easiest state for English.
The Star Tours K?
You make fun of me for mispronouncing what a GIF is? Okay.
It's still a gift.
Yeah,
you,
Cameron.
you keep saying peanut
Cameron,
butter names.
Moms like her choose Jim. Come on.
At least I know
I-
grammar.
I just want to say too, like I said, like I know we're getting a lot of cool stuff with Star Wars, but like the characters as Star Wars
We'll
characters,
never get
that's
that
kind of what we're missing. Like that, we're not going to get that anymore. And so yeah, we're getting a lot of Star Wars and Star Wars weekends. It's fine that it's going away, but we're not getting.
Well, it's going to be all the time now. It was special for
went
all
away,
fans to come together. That was their weekend
Yeah.
to celebrate their movies.
And now you're supposed to go to like Star Wars Celebration, which
Right.
Yeah.
is
So you gotta-
like the D23 Expo. I think it's like this miserable thing of lines. I hate these conventions. I think there's got to be a better way to do this stuff.
Well, they got too big.
That's the thing. I feel like I'm
That's
never
like all
missing
of
out.
them.
It's
Is
not
it
worth
because
going.
Star Wars is like mainstream now? Is that kind
Well,
of
it
what
is,
it is
yeah.
now? It's like
Yeah.
Star
too
Wars
much.
was mainstream a long time
But
ago
it's-
before Disney bought it.
It's oversaturated.
It was still mainstream
now,
when Star Wars Weekends was happening.
Yeah.
It's also like now you have kids watching the new movies too. It wasn't just like the older people. Now every single generation has a Star Wars movie.
Everyone but Pete has seen them.
Yeah, look at
I'm
your
going to
Pete
see them all
talking
before
about Star
August
Wars.
29th. I'm talking about the fandom because I can talk about the fandom. I just don't know what happens in the movies. Don't tell me. I don't want any spoilers.
Wow.
You know they're prequels.
The movies are older than me. What do you mean spoilers?
What order?
Now we got to figure out order. Yeah.
I want to watch them in the order they were released in theaters. That's from what I've read, that's the appropriate way to do it.
I wouldn't.
That way I get the same experience as everyone else if they were to watch
I
it in
wouldn't
theaters.
start with Phantom Menace.
But
I actually was also told just to skip like 1, 2, and 3, but not like 1, 2, 3, but like the
I don't think you
prequels.
should skip them.
But then I feel like I might miss out on characters. So
I think you're not going to be like a hardcore super fan. I think you might find some stuff in the prequels that's actually worth seeing.
yeah.
Also, there's a
Like
lot of
Jar
great
Jar
jokes in the bad stuff in the prequels that you'll want to be included.
I also
There's
think
some
it'd be
really bad acting too, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
to
I love
watch.
that.
Yeah.
It'd be
I
interesting to
can't
watch
breathe.
Rogue One before Episode 4, though. Like someone who's never
I
seen
think
Episode
you should
4.
forget Rogue One exists.
Oh, you
I love
What?
Rogue One.
People like Rogue One.
Rogue One is so good.
The
I
fans
agree.
have told me that Rogue
I
One was
love
good.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Fans
live
are
and
wrong.
die by Rogue
You're
One.
all right.
It's not
But yeah,
Solo.
I have my
Solo's
homework cut
amazing.
out for me before August 29th.
Solo's fine.
Amazing.
Solo is
Solo's fine,
amazing.
but
I love
Rogue
it.
One
Solo.
was not.
I don't like Rogue One.
Why?
It's unnecessary.
I really enjoyed it.
I don't need to know any of that information.
You don't.
I don't need to see a bunch of people
But-
die.
Or I could do it kind of like how I did Marvel movies and start with and do them all backwards.
Start with Episode 9. Just go.
Pete's fourth Marvel movie ever
Well-
was Endgame.
Because Endgame, yeah. But I'm gonna go watch Infinity War.
I can't wait to see how they got to this point, though. What's
Everyone's
an
gonna hate me on the
Infinity
internet.
Stone?
Everyone's gonna hate me on the internet.
Tom's gonna rent out a theater for us to watch Episode 9,
Wait,
right?
we didn't talk about that at all. We rented out the theater for Endgame. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was
Very
fun.
fun, yeah.
It was warm.
It was warm. Like the studio.
Yeah, it was warm, and I had to hop over seats. But yeah,
Moment number 14.
sound effect.
Do the thing.
2017, The Great Movie Ride closes.
Oh, number one on
Yay.
Tom's list.
Well, importance? I don't know. Saddest, absolutely. This is
Saddest,
the saddest
yeah.
moments in Hollywood studios. We'd be talking about this. On July 15, 2017, as I predicted, it was announced that the attraction would be closing on August 13, 2017. That's right. It was less than a month, by the way. To make way for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And, of course, as the story goes, we, of course, rented out the Great Movie right 2 days before it closed. With very little time. Again, people don't realize that. I don't think a lot of people remember that. Expo was July 15th. They announced that Movie Ride and Universe Energy were closing, and we had till August 13th, less than 30 days. It was just felt real mean.
Mhm.
Just like, why didn't you give us a couple months? Like, come on. But this was big because I think most people had thought up to this point that they had closed everything. They were going to close at studios. And I think everyone kept saying to themselves, you know what, as long as they keep the Great Movie Ride, I'm okay with everything else. And then that was announced, and everyone's like, no, now this park is gone. This is it. And for most people, this is the death of what the park was.
It's like the last time that I've been in the park for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Was when the Great Movie Ride closed.
It was also one of those rides I always had to do when I came to the park.
Yeah.
It was so good.
That was absolutely, even as a local, even if I went several times a week, I always did Movie Ride. Yeah.
Just for the cowboy scene.
Yeah.
I just love. No, you don't, Ethan. Ethan, no, you don't.
Yeah. It's a shame. There's a heart and soul of that part. It's like if Spaceship Earth was gone.
Oh.
Don't even say it. Don't even speak that.
What'd you say?
Which it will be temporary.
Well, for 2 years it'll be gone, yeah.
It will be gone. It'll just
Which
be
again, it was
reinvented.
faster to build than apparently to refurb.
That one hurts. I think I said to somebody, I think finally... Wow. Trying to have an emotionally strong moment
Oh,
here.
sorry.
It's just like,
I'm sorry. You're talking about your right.
Nick and I are crying.
I'm weeping.
I said farewell.
I
It's
think
time.
I finally
I'm
realized,
sorry.
like, and I grew up, like, I never thought anything would top imagination for me, but I think at this point, Movie Ride.
Really?
Yeah, it hurts. It definitely, I don't know if the wound's still just much fresher, but Movie Ride hurts more than Imagination does. Maybe because, like, Figment's still there, nothing of Movie Ride is still there. It's completely gone. Like, Figment still exists.
Yeah.
It's in a horrible form, but it exists.
They don't do like magnets with aliens on them.
No.
Well, we had to do Roger
Or Gene
Rabbit 'cause
Kelly.
they won.
Yeah.
I'll make a Gene Kelly magnet. You want a
Yeah,
Gene Kelly
I
magnet?
do. I want
Yeah.
Singing in the Rain
I
on
want a
magnet.
custom
Collect them all.
I want half an airplane.
I think it says something though. I know we've done these countdown lists for all the parks many times. There are not a lot of ride closures that make lists, and not the top half of lists especially. So Movie Ride, that's pretty significant.
Well, and it was iconic too. I mean, it was
Yeah.
when they opened the park, that was the icon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they changed
And
it.
it was
to
like
be-
the only ride.
Right. I mean, obviously
Other than
the
Backlit Door.
the park was already changed. I mean, the direction of the park already changed, but I mean that was the tie. That I
Yeah.
think that was the big tie. So like that closing,
You
that's it.
severed all
Yeah.
ties to
Yeah.
the past. Yeah.
I mean,
Kylo Ren did.
Yeah.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Who's Kylo Ren?
Oh,
Stop.
man.
Stop it.
You'll find out.
I'm excited.
Oh man. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Moment number 13.
D.
D. D. Full screen D.
Bunch of children.
Baby.
Yeah.
2008, the Disney MGM Studios becomes Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Ooh.
This was the last time we were mad. Last time we were mad about a logo change. What's funny is they announced the new logo, and I remember like being grumpy about them changing the arch in 2008.
Right.
And then like it grew on me, and now I'm like, that new one's never gonna grow on me. That's not gonna happen. Anyway. In 1985, Disney and Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer entered into a licensing contract that gave Disney the worldwide rights to use the MGM name and logo for what would be the Disney MGM Studios, which included the working production facilities for movies and television shows, and a satellite animation studio which began operation prior to the park's debut. In 1988, MGM UA responded by filing a lawsuit they claimed Disney violated the agreement by operating a movie and television studio at the resort. On May 1st, 1989, the theme park opened adjacent to the production facilities, with MGM's only affiliation being the original licensing agreement that allowed Disney to use the brand name and lion logo in marketing, and separate contracts that allowed specific MGM content to be used in the Great Movie Ride. Disney later filed a countersuit claiming that MGM and MGM Grand Incorporated had conspired to violate Disney's worldwide rights to the MGM name in a theme park business, and that MGM would harm Disney's reputation by building its own theme park at the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. On October 23, 1992, Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Curtis B. Rapp ruled that Disney had the right to continue using the Disney MGM Studios name on film product produced at the Florida facility, and that MGM Grand had the right to build a Las Vegas theme park using the MGM name and logo, as long as it did not share the same studio backlot theme as Disney's property.
Uh-huh.
The 33-acre MGM Grand Adventures theme park opened in 1993 at the Las Vegas site and closed permanently in 2000. You know how many years it was open? 7.
7?
Yeah, 7. They were in unison. That was weird. It was like a dream I had.
You guys.
Disney was Disney was contractually prohibited.
What?
You know, Disney was contractually prohibited from
Dreams
using
you
the
have.
Disney MGM Studios name in certain marketing contexts. In those instances, the park was called the Disney Studios. In fact, one of the videos we showed at the event, constantly they would show the signage, but there was this weird blur over where it would say MGM. That was one of
Synergy.
those instances. On August 9, 2007, Walt Disney World President Meg Crofton announced that the Disney MGM Studios would be rebranded as Disney's Hollywood Studios, effective January 7th, 2008, saying the new name reflects how the park has grown from representing the golden age of movies to a celebration of new entertainment that today's Hollywood has to offer in music, television, movies, and theater.
Bad.
This was... What?
I said bad. It was bad.
I never disliked that name.
Confusing.
Disney's Hollywood Studios?
Yeah, we're not in Hollywood.
What?
Also, I feel like a lot of locals have changed it, but most people who are not local still say MGM.
MGM. My
all
mom
the
still
time.
calls it
Yeah.
MGM.
Everyone says MGM.
Yeah, it's easier to say. I ended up switching because I think mostly because of the site, because it was inaccurate to say on the air.
Yeah.
So I think I just started saying studios, and I've just been using studios
Yeah,
since.
that's usually what I say.
Yeah, but everyone
And
else
it's-
still says it. My mother still says MGM. Yeah.
I think most do. Yeah.
Most mothers say
Most
MGM.
mothers-
I think most mothers do say MGM.
And they also
say
choose
pop.
Jim.
And they also choose Jim.
Oh boy, I like the name. It grew on me. I always like this logo, the newer logo.
I liked the
like
logo,
it.
but
It's good. Anyway, not that. I mean, I love the MGM logo too, but they're both good.
It reminds you of Hollywood. It's got that Hollywood
I
pizzazz.
will just
It
say,
says Hollywood.
I wish this
I
wasn't
like
up
the
so
font.
high on the list because I don't think it matters that much.
It's a name change of a park. There's
Yeah.
only other one is Epcot. No.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I mean, they didn't change too
Epcot
much. They just
Center.
dropped
Well, and
MGM.
Disneyland Paris.
They just it just became the Disney, Hollywood Studios, but they
Well,
just really
Disney
dropped.
MGM Studios became Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Euro Disney too.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disneyland Paris. Yeah, sure. Only a couple. And of course, Disney California Adventure, where
Oh.
they dropped the apostrophe S. They were all supposed to do that after, and no one ever did it. It was just the one part. Anyway. Stupid. And then even now, we changed the logo. We're like, we're not dropping the apostrophe S. Just leave it. All right, number 12.
D.
got it.
The longest drum roll.
1989, the Indiana
have
Jones
longer.
Epic Stunt Spectacular debuts.
Yeah.
Like, the world has really come around on this show. I think it was great when it opened. I think
Right.
we all got real tired of
Yep.
it. And now that we've lost everything,
Yep.
like everyone's like, I love it. It's the best.
I literally went and watched it today just to go watch it by myself.
Oh, it's cute.
It's so true though.
Show opened on August 25th, 1989 as the first Indiana Jones attraction at any theme park on Earth, and was put, I don't know why that's even in here. It was put on a 6-month hiatus in 2000.
Because that's what the people
that
care
was
about.
deemed important when I wrote this list 10 years ago. This is the first theme park attraction to use computer-based show control system in conjunction with a custom-made programmable logic controller system to trigger, control, and sequence complex live events in real time, controlled by the actors in many cases. In fact, at Hollywood, that was. Jack told us all about the stuff he developed for the show. They built those machine guns.
The guns,
Yeah,
yeah.
they built all those guns that had never been done before, because they've built guns for production, for real television movie use, and a lot of those times those things are made knowing you're going to shoot them off once, and they don't need to be reloaded right away or used several times a day. And they had to develop all this crazy new stuff that had never been done before for the show. It's really complex. It changed the theme park world forever. I mean, stunt shows became ubiquitous, I think, after this. And everybody had them after this. Six Flags had Batman stunt shows.
Yeah.
And Universal had Waterworld and all these
The
things.
Wild West show.
Wild Wild West, yeah. Or Three Wilds.
Wild
Wild Wild
West.
West was the movie. Wild 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 West was the show at
Stunt spectacular.
Universal.
It was just a little more wild.
Slightly.
Yeah.
I loved the show. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a stuntman, and it was because of the show. I love
The
it.
boulder? Which part?
I just wanted to do it all. Like, I wanted to be someone. We used to set up fake stunts around the house. We would have something swing, and we move out of the way just in time. My younger brothers got hurt all the time because they would miss the
I could
cues.
see that. Yeah.
I like how just your brothers got hurt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I gotta test it out on somebody. I love the show. I love live act. Well, I just think it's cool to see live action. You see the stunts in front of you, and then how it took you behind the scenes too, as a guy growing up in New York, who wanted to be an actor, wanted to see that, where it was oh, that's a real director, and I was called up to be one of the
got to do it?
Yeah, so that was like really cool.
I need to go do it before it closes in case. Although, from what we've heard, it's being updated, so who knows?
They can't take it away. But it's awesome. I love Indy.
No,
we say that a lot.
Great movie ride. They can't take that away.
No, they can't take that.
Ron Howard comes in. They did take it away.
The delay.
Oh man. Anything else about Indy?
Good stuff.
It's fantastic.
Good stuff.
We named the
No,
dog.
it's important. It's important for what it was.
What'd you
I mean,
say,
it's
Michelle?
really cool.
We named the dog Indiana.
Oh.
Because it was a real like look in how movies are made.
Which was the whole point of the park. Yeah.
Exactly. So it was pretty cool.
This was
I
like-
always used to forget. I used to, like as a kid, I always used to be surprised every single time. Well, I guess I wasn't really a kid. I was a kid-ish,
The other day.
whatever younger it was.
Kiddish.
No, every time I went back, like I'd always be surprised about the like plant in the show. Like I would always forget about it.
Oh man.
And so I'd always like, oh, that's so.
So you
cool.
were really forgetful even as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Oh man. All right.
I have seen Indiana Jones.
Oh, you've seen those movies.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Spoiler alert, by the way.
Number 11.
D.
He went to hit the iPad. It's on the keyboard. I can't believe this is here. 2001, The Sorcerer's Hat debuted.
Yeah.
This is garbage.
No.
Well, wait, no.
No.
I'm Sorcerer's Hat years old. Like this is like my childhood. Even though it was awful, but it was still like a part of it.
It was something special.
That is all I have to say.
If I've said this, I think, several times. I would take back The Sorcerer's Hat if we could just go back to when The Sorcerer's Hat was there so I could have great movie ride. I will take The Sorcerer's Hat.
It was good times.
I also like when they mix it up and put something in the parks just
Yeah.
to like make something special. I mean,
Well, it was for legal reasons. They had to block the theater.
well, whatever. It worked. I think it was fun. It was a cool picture spot. It was fun to look at.
It was
I
just
like special things.
It was just really lame when I'd like run up to it. I'm like, oh, it's just like a dumb store. Like there's nothing.
It didn't open as. Let me give you the backstory. Built in front of the Great Movie Ride, The Sorcerer's Hat debuted on September 28, 2001 as part of the 100 Years of Magic celebration. Structure was inspired by the Sorcerer's Apprentice segment in the 1940 film Fantasia. During the celebration, interactive kiosks were installed underneath the hat where guests could learn about Walt Disney's life and career. When the celebration ended in early 2003, the kiosks were removed, and then it became a pin store.
Yes, that's
I
what
missed
I
that. That was
remember it
my
as.
pin store. That's the only thing. As much as I didn't want it there, a lot of good memories in that store
Pin
for me.
trading.
And on May 20th, 2011, the Sorcerer's Hat served as the venue for the grand opening of Star Tours. That's what it was used. It was used as a stage for many events, where they put the stage in front of it. And then, of course, we already talked about the hat coming down last time on the countdown. But this went from like not being on the list last time to now being number 11 because it's gone. I don't understand when the world came around on this thing because I thought everyone was always in agreement. I remember like when I was told the hat was going to come down, and I go, the whole community's going to come together and like we're going to dance around this thing like burning. And I post the story, the breaking story, and I post the story.
You heard it here first.
You did. You're absolutely right. I had it first. And post a story, and suddenly, like, you start getting comments, and like half of them are, yeah, it's finally gone. And then I start seeing like, no, I love the hat. I'm like, what?
Because it became a part of people's lives. It happened.
It's just proof that, like,
being
but see, like, what did you say?
I do remember people being very sad about it, and it was a surprise to me.
I wasn't sad about it. I was both. I like I was on both sides. I could see that.
It's a whirlwind of emotion for Fig.
Oh boy.
I mean, I kind of wish it was something they could have moved.
No.
Like it would have been. Cool
I would have put it
outside
at
like
like
art.
It was a
art of
photo spot.
animation,
Yeah,
or
there,
like,
yeah.
at a resort, it would have been fine.
Okay.
What is that? No, go ahead.
No, I hate the Sorcerer. I always hated it. I know we already talked about it being removed, but I remember when it finally was, because it was up for most of my childhood, and when it finally was removed, I remember just being in awe at all of the space that was
Yeah.
available now and currently still.
No, it's wonderful that it was taken out of that spot, but I think it was pretty at night. I think if you'd put that at a resort, that would have been really neat.
Do you see? I think one of the problems I know I had with it, and other people like I liked it, but I wish it wasn't there for as long as it was. I think that was the
It was
problem.
supposed to be. Well, that was the same thing that happened
Same
with
with
the
the
wand,
wand.
where they
Same
were
with the
supposed to
wand.
be just for a celebration, and then they just left it.
So-
it's already up. Let's use it.
Which did you not like more, the wand or the hat?
Wand.
Yeah, the wand. Yeah.
Oh, the wand much
Right.
more.
The
yeah.
wand felt much more forced.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Well, the wand, yeah, the wand.
Spaceship Earth is. I mean, I love the Chinese theater. I mean, that's my favorite park. But Spaceship Earth is undoubtedly the best park icon that's ever been built. I mean, that structure is still amazing. So the fact that you slap this weird steel beam around the side of it, and there's pixie dust falling down on the top.
But that was also okay with that for a short amount of time.
I
It was
was
just there
it's
too
in
long.
2000. It felt special. It was like,
Right.
oh, this is cool. I'll have all these pictures of. And the same with the castle cake. I didn't hate the castle cake because it was temporary. I thought it was cute, and it went away. So who cares? It
Right.
was something different to see on one trip. People should get over that. The hat. I understand getting angry about it after 2003 because we were like, oh, it's finally coming down. And then suddenly it's a pin store. The park icon is a pin store. All right. And I love pins, and I still wasn't okay with it.
What's the name of this list? Greatest moments?
Biggest.
Biggest. Okay, I mean, sort of.
So historical significance.
Yeah.
A new park icon?
Yeah.
Absolutely historically significant. I don't know if I agree with it being above some of the things we just listed. That's my problem.
Yeah, Great Movie Ride going away.
Yeah,
I think it's a bigger
I think
deal.
that's gonna, for a long time, have a much bigger impact. Yeah.
Well, like you said, I think a lot of times on these lists, openings overshadow closings.
Yeah.
So,
No, usually. I
yeah.
mean, but usually it's a bigger impact. Because usually by the time you close something, it doesn't mean anything. There's very few things that close still meaningful. I think Great Movie Ride's one of those things. But
I also think we're growing more accustomed to things closing, especially right in this era, as opposed to and these new things that open is something there's all this hype, and we also hype it up too, because we talk about it for probably a year and a half before it happens.
Well, and there's nothing original now. Like when these things came out, it was new and original. It wasn't.
Well,
You know
I mean,
what I
Great
mean?
Movie Ride's full of IPs. So
Well, I know what I'm trying to say, but
no one else.
I get it. I know what you're saying.
The show and everything made it special.
Yeah.
Because there was a show with it.
Yeah. Like it was.
Well, I mean the.
Oh, something that's never been done before. Is that what we're saying?
Nothing is sacred?
I guess. Well, no, I mean
something is.
I'm so confused.
Like there's okay, so go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, it's a ride through IPs, yes, but then you also get the interactive show with the cast members.
Okay.
So I think is that kind of what you meant?
Part of
it's not
it,
just a
yeah.
ride through IPs. A ride through IPs, okay, but
No, I think
there's-
you've all
Or
derailed
more,
this.
I think, for me, I don't know, the way I interpret it was something that you've, in a theme park, something that you've never had that kind of experience. One, you had two different routes, so you didn't know which route you were going to get. Two, you had the live actor, someone walking you through it. Then you had someone disappear in smoke, and then your tour guide come back, and it walked you through
Yeah,
your
it was a
favorite
whole experience.
favorite moments and they were
As
able to put
opposed
all these
to-
iconic movies together. So this whole experience is something that most people have never.
As opposed to a ride through a cartoon world, which has
Exactly.
been before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's where I was trying to
Which
say.
most
Thank you.
things-
I got your back. I got your back.
Okay, that's fair. All right, number 10.
This poor guy's arms.
Jim Henson's Muppet Vision 3D debut. Which I do the pre-show.
You mean we got to do this show again?
It's time to start the show.
The Walt Disney Company signed an agreement with Henson Associates Incorporated for Muppet Vision 3D as a new attraction at the Disney MGM Studios back in 1989. The film debuted finally at Hollywood Studios on May 16th of 91, 1 year to the day after the death of Jim Henson. The attraction existed only in Florida until February 8, 2001, when it debuted as an opening day attraction for Disney California Adventure, which now no longer has it. So Florida, the only version of the show in existence. Fun thing that we found out at Hollywood I didn't know this story. We knew that Eisner and the Henson family were fighting after Jim died for if the sale was going to go through, because Jim never signed anything. It was like a verbal agreement. We didn't know how bad things were, to the point where the son Brian was going to pull the rug out on Muppet Vision. Like, he came in and said, this is not happening. And apparently people on the project said to him, like, why don't you watch it? And he sits and watches Muppet Vision, and they went to him, do you really think it's the right decision to not let this be seen? and I think he loved Muppet Vision so much that he was like, despite this legal fight, this needs to be seen. This is my dad's last project.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Which is how I always feel. I think it's Jim Henson's magnum opus. I think it's everything he learned through his career. And he got to do this insane thing where he could build a theater for his characters that had, like, you know, water effects, and there's animatronics, and there's a Sweetums that comes out.
You get the
like,
live actor. The live actor. The whole theater transforms at the end.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Like, and then you have like the commentary. Like, it's the show still holds up, and it's so old. Like, I don't think there's any other show that can hold up, and it's still fun to watch for all ages.
And that was like Jim's last frontier. He had done every other medium there was. He'd done radio and television and movies, and that was the last thing he hadn't done. And I think it meant a lot to him, and I think it shows. I think it's absolutely the best Muppet project that's ever been done.
And I forget who said it at that panel too, but they said how much Jim loved the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah, that's what
as
he
well.
wanted to sell to them. Yeah.
Well, it is timeless. The Muppets are timeless, and they made a show that's timeless. I mean, you know, we said, you know, we talked a lot about Beauty and the Beast and the Little Mermaid show, and those show their age. They definitely do. I mean,
Muppets is still funny.
Yeah.
I would much rather tear Voyage out of the park before Muppets.
None of it's dated.
The
None of that
writing is
comedy
so
has a
good.
timestamp on it.
No.
Yeah.
It's my, I mean, besides Star Tours, I mean, it's my second favorite thing that's ever been at studios. So.
Wow, that's
It is,
powerful.
yeah. I love the Muppets. Yeah, I love the Muppets. And plug the Muppets Minute podcast will be doing an episode on Muppet Vision 3D this summer in between movies here. So we'll get.
Am I doing that?
Yeah,
Oh,
of course
okay.
you are. So we got to get you on that. 'Cause we had fun doing Muppets at Walt Disney World last
Yeah, I
year.
like
so
that special.
We'll do this one. Yeah.
Someone in the chat put in the original concept art for the Sorcerer's Hat. For those of you who don't know, it was originally supposed to be outside of the park, like where the topiary is, and it was going to be a double Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
The 2 ears were Ferris wheels.
It looks cool. That's fun.
Yeah, that would have been weird, but kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Anything about Muppets?
Love Muppets.
Great show.
I just really love the Penguin Orchestra.
Yes.
I don't know why. I'd never sat at the front before until we went the other day. And
Yeah.
it was like a revelation for me. Muppet Vision, for a long time, it tends to like slump into that ride, like attraction I go to sleep for.
You go to sleep for.
Yes.
I'll
Attraction you go
translate.
in- yeah.
You go into the theater to sleep.
Yes.
It's a napping attraction.
From
But
Muppet
at the
Vision.
front, on the front row, it's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and you can see like the arrows hit the wall. The arrows pop out of the wall, like they've shot out of the screen. You know, all kinds of.
And
And if you're in that photo too, when you see Sweetums up close and personal, that's fun too.
And they have the Swedish chef, like all of the characters, and like they all get their like spot in
And
the
I
show.
love Waldo C. Graphics so much. He's made to be
Yeah.
this obnoxious
It's so
maniac,
bad.
and I love it.
Can we also talk about how the pre-show is fun too? Like when
Oh,
like
The
Rat
pre-show
Mickey Mouse.
might be better written than the main
Pre-show is so good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Galaxy's Edge, for not taking it.
Hopefully.
Don't
It's gotta
thank
stay.
anyone yet.
Yeah.
Don't thank me yet, kid.
When they started repainting everything, I was getting very scared.
Yeah, I thought it was going away. and
Yeah,
it's-
with the repainting, I was getting nervous.
I don't like where it is. It scares me. It's too close. Anyway, number 9.
Here we go.
1994, Sunset Boulevard opened.
Yes.
Sunset Boulevard opened as an expansion of the park on July 22nd, 1994. The visual focal point of Sunset Boulevard, of course, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Twilight Zone, located near Rock and Roll, nearby, added over the years, was Rock and Roller Coaster in 1999. Of course, Fantasmic was added along Sunset Boulevard in 98. Beauty and the Beast live on stage in the Theater of the Stars relocated to Sunset Boulevard. Yeah, I think like Hollywood Boulevard's great. It's real on its own was real tiny. So busting out into Sunset really completes that area. I love, like I've said a million times, I love the main streets around the world, but Hollywood and Sunset's my favorite. I think it's the best main street there is. I think it's intimate. It's got this really intimate scale to it. The facades are beautiful. The neon at night is really wonderful. The shop interiors before they were destroyed were great. Hopefully they're not being destroyed. Were great. I love them. I love Suns, and Sunset's great. I think it's really wonderful. And again, they've kind of nuked Beverly Sunset a bit when we lost Sweet Spells and things like that. But still, I still love it.
It's to me, it's perfect too, especially if you visit California, like how they brought California down that street. It's always beautiful during the day. It's gorgeous, and actually, you're walking towards this icon. It's a perfect spot to take a picture. Even like when they have like the bricks like peeling underneath the pavement with the old trolley tracks, where you have the wires for a trolley car to run. The street, I mean, the fact that Street Atmosphere is always on that street, I love as well. That like makes the atmosphere. You have the vine ripe and all the produce. My one concern would be I really want them to finish the loop. I hate how much, especially now with the Cars show, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy.
All the way out there.
I hate that if you get to there, it is such a walk to get back to the main part of the park. I wish they would connect that, but it's just I'm on board with you. I love it. And Tower Terror's there. It's the best ride.
All right, next up, number 8.
Well done.
Thank you.
1980s Epcot Center Pavilion becomes the Disney MGM Studios theme park project. The Great Movie Ride directly inspired the creation of Disney's Hollywood Studios. In a Walt Disney Imagineering book, it was revealed that the Great Movie Ride was actually going to be the main attraction in a show business themed pavilion at Epcot Center, which was to be called Great Moments at the Movies. However, the newly assigned Disney CEO Michael Eisner and WDI President Marty Sklar decided the idea was strong enough for an entire new theme park. So the idea for the ride was expanded, and the Disney MGM Studios went into development. This is a thing most people know at this point, where they decided that between imagination and the land, they were going to build this movie pavilion. And then Eisner came in, and it's been well documented, knowing what Universal was going to build in Orlando, said that, well, if we're going to compete with them, we should really move this ride and do something, and do a backlot tour with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great move. I mean, because, like, our current leadership over there at the parks would probably just shoehorn it in to Epcot or wherever, right? I mean, that's what they're doing these days. Yeah. So that Eisner had that vision.
Shoehorn into Epcot, it made sense next to Imagination.
I guess it would have been
an entertainment. But
yeah.
I think how humans are entertained makes sense. I don't think it's out of place in Epcot. And also, like,
I was gonna say at Epcot, it's not really shoehorning because at Epcot you had different pavilions.
Yeah.
So if you built a pavilion around it, it would be like, oh, there's this pavilion, there's that pavilion.
Think about the theme of the Disney MGM Studios when it opened. It was about lifting the curtain, showing you how movies and television are made. That's very edutainment. That's very Epcot, and that's how that all begins. Is Epcot had this idea of, oh, well, it'll be educational. The fact it will show you how these things are done that you've never seen before, which was the idea with a lot of the other pavilions, to try and teach you more about these topics that maybe you didn't know.
I mean, I think we could tell too. I mean, I'm sure you've talked about this in the past, but like how when they did open the new park though, that there wasn't much to do. It was a half-day park. It had a 2-hour ride. I mean, they're a 2-hour ride.
Yeah, but the park closed at capacity every day. Like, people showed up in droves to see that tour, but people understood that. It wasn't. I don't know if like theme parks weren't such a major part of life. I think everybody now. I think part of an American summer vacation in most cases is a trip to a theme park. I don't think people were accustomed to that yet. I think you got to remember, Magic Kingdom is most definitely a theme park in 1989. Epcot is still this weird, like, World's Fair. It's not really a theme park. It's this completely different entity. And then they're telling you we're now going to let you into a working movie studio. You're not necessarily thinking, oh, they're just building a third theme park in Florida.
Yeah.
It's a different time. It's before, like, and by the time, like, Animal Kingdom opens, that notion is over.
I can see that.
They are 3 theme parks at that point.
That's fair. I really like the backlot too. That was fun.
Oh, when it first opened, that was neat. And like that. Think about how crazy it is. You could never. And someone said that at the Imagineering panel. Someone said you could never do that today. You couldn't put people on like an hour or so long
Oh, no,
tram,
forget about it.
then give them like a break in the middle, and then put them on another hour or so of
No.
walking tour. Like, you couldn't do that.
Nobody would go on that ride.
Yeah.
We don't have the mental capacity.
Yeah.
No, people don't. People want a 5-minute like big
Yeah.
bang, you know.
But we would do it, and it was amazing.
Yeah, we would.
Right.
People want
Then-
5 minutes of sensory overload is what Disney has decided now.
Different time, but again, that's what you're talking to, a different generation where everything is instant, and that was when you went behind the scenes. You were on a tour. This was like in the same time you used to go on these 2 or 3 hour tours at other attractions around the country.
Yeah. All right, number 7.
7?
Yeah, 7.
Wow.
Pero.
Siete.
1984, Michael Eisner becomes part of the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah.
So we already just told you, we set this all up. Michael Eisner is one of the driving factors behind turning an Epcot Pavilion into a whole new theme park. So obviously it makes sense that this is on the list. As the company made many corporate changes in the early 80s, they greatly expanded their number of productions and needed more real estate to make all of these projects a reality. So instead of buying expensive land in California, they decided to make use of a wealth of land in Central Florida that they already owned. This would make sense as well if they were going to try to beat Universal at their own game before they could open in Orlando. It also made sense for the new production facilities on land that they already owned, rather than buy more, and put it in the middle of the world's vacation mecca for all to see. Not only would the productions bring in profits, but guest ticket sales would also make the company a fortune and keep guests staying at Walt Disney World for longer periods of time. There was a serious problem, however. At the same time Disney was developing their park, Universal was looking to head east as well. And the company that inspired Walt Disney to want to build a backstage tram tour was looking to build one where Disneyland's big younger brother lived, and had been thinking about doing so since 1979. Facing the impending announcement and construction of a Universal Studios Florida, Disney decided that they had to make the first move. And of course, as the story goes, Michael Eisner, when he worked at Paramount, had seen the models and been in meetings with Universal about the park. Let's not forget that Paramount ends up licensing some stuff to Universal when that park opens. Ghostbusters. When there was a bidding war for Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters originally was going to be in the Great Movie Ride, and ended up instead as a show in Universal Orlando. And so Eisner coming in, number one, a very competitive guy, and number two, a very creative guy, and sometimes to a fault. But I think between the creative side and the competitive side, I think he made the right decision. I think, I believe that was fair what Disney did. I think you have a competitor coming in, and how do you choose to deal with a competitor? You go head to head. I mean,
competitive, creative, and a great businessman. Like the deal he negotiated with MGM, he got it for like pennies, like literally
that's
nothing.
Why MGM was really mad. I mean, we don't really.
He
talk
got
about
it for nothing. Like so, like he's just a business genius. And we heard it on the panels this week, but like I'm sure everyone's known this and read about it. But he was super creative, and he loved the Disney theme parks so much. He really sincerely cared. And he kind of had this open door policy, and he wanted to, almost, throw this word around. We don't really use it anymore. Is plus things. Is like
he was a big kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like people say, and I think it's been said a million times, if Paris didn't fail, I think Michael would have been fine. I think that put a lot of pressure on him when Paris didn't do what it was supposed to do. But before that, I mean, clearly things were working.
And it was a tragedy what happened to Frank Wells too.
Yeah, and we could talk about the Frank Wells thing, and maybe
Yeah.
Frank kept him in check a little bit. I don't know.
They were a good team. I think that's what really.
It's like imagining Roy without Walt and vice versa. Yeah. That kind of thing. And like look at when Walt died. Look at what Roy did to Magic Kingdom. I mean, Roy cut away all the original attractions they were going to build. And essentially, they built a lot of California clone stuff. So it's arguable. All right, number 6. "1995, the Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights" premieres. Yeah, more stuff to be said about. Woo! They killed the park. Woo!
Merry Christmas.
Jennings Osborne, along with his wife Mitzi, founded the Arkansas Research Medical Testing Center in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1968. The business's success allowed him and his wife to eventually purchase a large estate in the middle of town in 1976. And in 1980, the Osbornes had a daughter, Allison Brianne Osborne, nicknamed Breezy. In 1986, Breezy asked her father if they could decorate their home in lights, and Osborne complied, stringing 1,000 lights around their home. And each year after that, it got bigger and bigger, Osborne would later recall. Eventually, Osborne purchased the 2 properties adjacent to his own, as one does, and expanded the display into them. Yes. By 1993, the display had over 3 million lights. Some of the more prominent was an illuminated globe with Little Rock and Bethlehem marked, mounted in the backyard, 2 rotating carousels of light, a 70-foot 21-meter tall Christmas tree of lights with 80,000 lights in 3 colored layers, and a canopy of 30,000 red lights over a section of the driveway. The lights were extremely popular in both Arkansas and around the world, and news crews often visited to film the display. Since their house was located on one of the busiest streets in Little Rock, it eventually caused severe traffic issues and lots of complaints. The display grew bigger every year, and by 1993 was lit for 35 days during the Christmas season, from sunset to about midnight every day. 6 neighbors filed a lawsuit saying traffic congestion made trips to the corner store take 2 hours, and they feared emergency vehicles could not get down the street. Osborne responded by adding 3 million more lights.
My man.
Right? This is what I would do. The county court ordered an injunction against the display, limiting it to 15 days, and directing that it be lighted only from 7 to 10:30 p.m. Osborne appealed first to the Arkansas Supreme Court and lost, and then in 1994 to the United States Supreme Court, where Justice Clarence Thomas refused to halt the order. In 1995, the state Supreme Court shut down the display altogether. The Osbornes continued to have a light display later on a much smaller scale into the 2000s. But when all this was going on, apparently many cities and places in the world were arguing to host the lights. And that's when Disney stepped in and said, we will host the lights. The Osbornes were big Disney fans. They went all the time. And immediately were like, this needs to happen. And the rest is history.
I mean, I just think it's so cool. One, you get the free publicity. It goes all the way to the United States Supreme Court. So Disney's easily like, hey, we can use publicity. They bring it in.
Oh, it's national
Yeah,
news.
exactly.
National
so you get
news.
national news, you bring it into the park. It's not that hard for them. They have a place for it. They already have their fans.
At the time, it was installed on Residential Street. So they figured, because the Osborne display was actually in a residential area in Little Rock, they're like, well, we have Residential Street at the studios. Why don't we just decorate all these movie sets?
And we did a Back to the Future on this too. So if you want to hear like 2.5, 3 hours on this, there's a whole Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fun.
I have zero recollection of Osborne lights. All
What?
I know about
What?
Osborne lights is
Wow.
what I heard in Back to the Future.
It was one of my favorite things. Like I would make a trip I'm from New York, so I would come down just for that. It was so cool, and the fact that they did different sequences. It was always different songs. It would blow my mind. And you actually told me, I never knew. I thought they saved everything. You said they did it fresh.
Every year they kept the big stuff, so like the globe
Yeah, I figure
and
that.
the carousels. But all the lights that were strung, they realized it was cheaper
That's
if
so
they
wild
just
to me.
cut them down and threw them away.
When you told me that, I was blown
'Cause
away.
you'd have
I never
to
knew
re-
that.
Yeah, because you'd have
That's
to
crazy.
re-spool them, so it was easier to just put new lights like out of the spool the next
Completely
year.
wild.
Yeah, it was much faster and easier. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this deserves to be this high on the list.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I think every family has a memory of. It's awesome. No one complained about this. Yeah, I mean, if you would have saw it, you would have loved it. Like, there's no one that disliked this, and it didn't get anything's way. It's not like it replaced something else.
Got in something's way.
Well, Galaxy.
Yeah. What I want to know is when there's multi-hours of traffic at Hollywood studios, are we going to move Galaxy's Edge to Little Rock, Arkansas?
That would be amazing.
That's what I think needs to happen.
Arkansas is so excited.
So I want to clarify, because people have a
here we
misconception.
go.
I loved the Osborne
you
lights.
hated it
No,
last week.
I love the Osborne lights. I say it's a little bit overrated the way people think about it, but it was great. I love it. I'm fine seeing it going though. It doesn't affect me to see that go.
But kind of like the backlot tour, we talked about attention span to like the 2 hours.
Mhm.
Now, it's because people have the technology and the means, and this is all over the country. You can
Yeah.
go find an
It's
awesome
still
lights
not,
display.
like,
It wasn't on the scale, but I mean,
But like I
it
said
was
last
something
time,
you
it
never
was this.
saw back at that time, and
Yeah.
now you see it more and more around the country.
But it was that experience of like all these people, like it's a holiday offering, all this holiday music is playing, these lights are dancing, it's snowing in Florida.
It snows
It
in
was
a
just
lot of
an
the country, and there's a lot of big lighting
Yeah, but
displays
this one you
around
have
the
to
country.
clean up. It's
Oh.
magical.
Oh.
Magic snow.
It's. I think. I was just saying
It was an
to
experience.
be on Nick's side. I don't think it would. If they brought it into the park current day, we'd be like, well, who cares?
I would be more upset when the candlelight processional ends, if it ever does.
I have.
Meh.
It's a much bigger tradition, but I care more about Osborne.
I only stand Magic Kingdom at Christmas.
Wow.
Sorry.
Too many people.
All right, number 5. I don't agree with this one. Number 5.
Well, what is it?
1999 Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Number 5.
What? Yeah.
It is
Now,
very
let me
high on
clarify.
the list.
I love Rock and Roller Coaster, but I don't think it should be number 5.
No.
I don't even love it that much. I mean, it's fun, and the park needs a roller coaster.
The
But
ride officially opened on July 29th, 1999, with an invitation-only party featuring Aerosmith as the guest of honor. Yep, and that's rock. I don't have anything else really to say. I don't want to read all.
We talked about this when we were walking down the
These funny
street
facts.
the other
I'm
day.
tired.
Yeah, like, U2 was supposed to be the original ones. They brought in Aerosmith. Again, this was just an empty building. They needed a roller coaster.
There was nothing. It wasn't even a building.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, there was an out-of-the-box roller coaster, and to me, I still think it is not well themed. It is.
I think it's a fun.
It's
theme.
a fun ride. It is not a well themed ride.
building
It is
is cool.
the outside, yeah, but the inside. So you blow past some signs with some black light
Oh,
paint
yeah,
on them.
no, I
It's
understand
awful.
that.
They could
But
do so much more. You're riding on your way through
Yeah,
traffic
yeah.
to a concert. There's so much you can do.
What's funny is it's basically the roller coaster version of Superstar Limo, but no one seems to care. Like Superstar Limo had to close after like a couple months, but yeah. I don't know. There's something kitschy about it.
I love it.
I like it.
I always go on it. I just think it could be so much better. I still go in it. I keep it. Just make the theming inside better.
It still rates really high on the nostalgia scale for me. Like, that opened up.
You're in for some sad times.
I know it's fine. I've moved on, but like that was right when like I was into Aerosmith as like a kid. I don't know, like the. And then,
Wow.
Her Aerosmith phase.
You don't remember Osborne Lights, but you remember going to all those Aerosmith
It
concerts.
was the year Armageddon. It was the year Armageddon came out.
yes.
And then just when you walk into like I didn't see it until we did the standby. Like we just rushed through it during after hours. But like that first display with all the guitars and everything, it looks really cool. It was mesmerizing when I was younger. It's still like now we just
The
breeze
outside of the building
by.
and the queue are better
I
than the ride.
love the
But
load area.
It's really
The
nice.
garage.
Mhm.
Oh.
The garage is awesome. I'm telling you, all these things are great. Just the ride itself is so. I also
You're
like the
going
interactive.
60-something miles an hour. How
Well,
much you gonna see anyway?
My favorite part is Steven Tyler reading the teleprompter like that.
He doesn't do it anymore.
And
They
he-
Photoshop.
No, now it's 4 fingers because he can't do the.
And I love
it
that
was
Steven
inappropriate.
Tyler,
Oh,
like,
really?
Because he was throwing up the shocker.
shocker.
Yeah.
That's
I also
his
like how they put
vibe.
your names in the posters up front. I think that's cool. That's new though, but I think that's fun. I like the
He's
little
easily
things.
impressed.
It's those little. I like details, small little
I'm
things.
on a poster.
It would be like appearing live from Iceland, New York.
I like that. Yeah. I kind of wish that they advanced it so that it wasn't always Aerosmith, like
Pick
like
music.
this rock and roller coaster. Yeah, and maybe you had like a few different sequences of different
Yeah,
bands that
imagine
filmed
being able to pick
intros.
music on like a comfortable roller coaster.
Well,
That'd be
yeah,
exciting.
but I'm also talking like what if different
That
bands
roller coaster's
filmed
comfortable?
intros?
Rip Ride Rocket.
Oh, that's not comfortable.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's
Like
awful.
imagine if you could pick a song on a good roller
Oh, yeah.
coaster.
That ride was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Why?
All right, riders.
By the way, one of my
We're
favorite
gonna get
bits
you to
we
the
ever
show.
did.
It's so good.
Sierra Late many years ago, we did a bit where Winey like toured us around Disneyland Paris, and he gets to Rock and Roller Coaster for. It's not a real thing, but we had Scott do the countdown in French. It's like Twa! Woo! It's just- oh, I love that. It's my favorite.
It's great.
Anyway, number 4. Phantasmic premieres.
Yay!
Holy Pete. Oh, man. Fantasmic. I'm not gonna read all this. We're running out of time. Fantasmic debuted inside the Hollywood Hills Amphitheater on October 15th, 1998. Of course, it debuted first at Disneyland in 1982. The shows are a little different. People tend not to like the changes that were made for the Florida version. I like the amphitheater. I like the ability to sit, but it probably is not the best version of Fantasmic. I don't know that it's the worst one either. The Tokyo one's a little weird. They had some weird infrastructure things they had to do.
Wait, there's
It's on
something
barges.
negative about Tokyo?
It's not negative. It's just probably not as good as the Florida one. I don't know. Yeah, I think everyone agrees that Disneyland one is the best. But an important addition. People love this show, again, if you've never seen the Disneyland one, I think you're still blown away. Just by the scope of the production. There's so many performers, and it's just so big. It just feels like this big spectacle, and maybe more so than any of the other nighttime shows.
Isn't it the most expensive one still because of the live actors?
Because actors, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think if they could get away with replacing it with a fountain show, they would.
I mean, it's just really cool. I think one thing that I like. I mean, it's a good show, and I think the music is fantastic. I love the live characters. It's just awesome how that theater is always at capacity. It's always full.
I think it speaks to the show. Yeah, I mean that's just such an important part of the Walt Disney World experience. I think if you didn't see Mickey like on top of a mountain shooting fireworks and lasers, did you go to Walt Disney World? I think that's all there is to it. It's like a rite of passage
It was
thing.
cool. I missed it when it went away.
When did it go away?
When I never saw it again.
What? If Michelle doesn't walk into the theater, it doesn't exist.
It's gone now because I don't go to Hollywood Studios,
don't
so
go to
everything's
Hollywood.
gone. The park's closed.
Moose out front should have told you.
It's like a baby when you do peekaboo. I don't see it. Not there.
Where did it go?
How many seats is that theater? I'm just curious.
5,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe 6
Oh.
because they added those 1,000 at the top.
6 sounds like for in my head I had a number, and that was my guess. But
Yeah, they went through a thing where they added.
it's awesome. This is right where it should be on the list, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I don't
Yeah.
disagree with that one
Yeah.
really. All right, number 3, kind of surprising. 1989 Star Tours open. It's a little high.
It is high for
I
sure.
do love Star Tours though. The ride system for Star Tours began as a proposed attraction based on the 1979 live-action film The Black Hole. Look it up, kids. The Black Hole will soon be a ride at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the Black Box. It was shelved due to the film's box office performance and what the attraction would have cost. The company's partnership with George Lucas then brought them together. Captain EO happened, and then Star Tours from there, which opened at Disneyland first, and then was immediately approved for the Disney MGM Studios when it opened. Coming in at a cost of $32 million, Star Tours The Ultimate Star Wars Adventure opened on January 9th, 1987 at Disneyland, and December 15th, 1989 at Disney's Hollywood Studios, at the time presented by M&M's Candy.
Was that the name of it? The Ultimate Star Wars Adventure?
Yeah, it's on the poster, on the original poster, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. I didn't realize that was part of the name.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. It's on the poster, usually. It's like Indiana Jones Adventure, Temple of the Forbidden Eye. It's full name, yeah. It's on the poster.
This is too high on the list. It's a very cool ride, very cool concept.
This changed the world in the 80s, though.
I did at
It's
the
the first
time.
simulator.
Yeah, I was gonna say it brought simulators everywhere. There was like a little local place by me that had simulators like this afterwards,
Yeah.
where you put on 3D glasses. You felt like you were, whether it was flying through space, going through dinosaur times. But I don't know.
Going through dinosaurs.
That's the one I remember doing all the time by me. But anyway.
But then I'm the one with, pero.
But to have this be number 3 is a little high for me. I feel like it's a bit of a reach. I think honestly, Fantasmic should be moved up in front of this. And I mean, that's a show that changed that park.
Yeah, but here's the thing: like Star Tours is the beginning of Star Wars in Disney parks, which leads us to
The eventual
now,
purchase,
which is
and then now Black Spot. Yeah.
undoubtedly the biggest addition in the history of theme parks. So I think this does belong up here.
I don't know. It could
Do
be
you see
argued.
how much queue that ride has? All of that used to be
full all
filled
the time,
up. Even like where we.
No,
did
I know. I used to
Ewok
always skip it
Fest
because I was like, it's not worth waiting more than 20 minutes for.
And the queue is beautiful, and it's amazing.
The area around it's cool, but I mean, again, you're looking at a screen with 3D glasses and in a shaky elevator.
How different is that from like Flight of Passage? I don't know, like.
Yeah. Star Tours changed my
what?
life, so I'm partial.
No,
I'm
but
partial
I mean,
because that was my introduction to Star
paved the
Wars.
way.
Best thing ever.
I love it, and it deserves a spot.
I'm not
I
saying
agree.
it's not a cool ride, a cool experience, and at the time, yes, it was groundbreaking, but in the history of the
You've never
Disney
seen any Star
MGM,
Wars movies.
I know, but it doesn't matter. What
You
I'm
don't
saying, in the
get
history
it.
of MGM, in the history of Hollywood studios, in the history of Disney's Hollywood studios, Disney MGM Park, this park, I don't think it's that big of a moment.
I think you're wrong.
It's a big moment.
All right.
They had at-ats just walking.
That was their
past, like,
only
that was
thrill
like-
ride for the first 5 years of the park's existence. That's a really big deal.
The video that they made. Just,
Okay, so again, it's very cool that it opened. I'm not saying it's not cool, but to be the third biggest moment in the park, there's so many bigger moments that happened.
Top
at Disney.
10? Do you think it belongs in the top 10?
I would put it in the top 10 absolutely because of everything that Tom's arguing.
Yeah.
The fact that it changed the scene of parks everywhere and entertainment attractions. The fact that it's going to lead to the largest land opening in the history of parks. These are very important things, but to have it be the top 3 in the history of this park since it opened is just a big stretch for me.
Yeah.
Make it a super stretch.
Yes.
I mean, I'm biased
And
by
then Michelle left.
I'm biased by loving Star Wars, I guess, but like I don't.
What does the boy think?
I think it belongs up here.
I think it belongs up here too.
You're outnumbered.
I mean,
Listen, excuse me.
If we're thinking of biggest moments, things that changed the park, I would probably actually put one of the moments that kind of started that transition to where we are now, I guess. So I think, I still think that like maybe closing of the backlot tour kind of thing was maybe too low on the list and needed to be up higher. I can't think of many other things that would be above this. I don't think.
What about the actual
Except our
great
number
movie
2.
ride? That changed rides and that
Maybe
changed
that
history.
is above this.
It could be. I'm just saying. I mean, like, the whole backlot tour.
Maybe that is also above this.
There's only 2 things left, and I'd see one of them. The next one I love.
Why don't we keep going then, and we can argue this at the end. Number 2. 1994, The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Yes. I'm not going to read. I have a bunch of history here. I'm not going to read it because by the time this summer's over, we're going to do Back to the Future again on television.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So I'm going to leave all that for then. But I'm going to say that this won the last time when we did the 25 biggest moments in the history of the park. This won, and no one argued it then. It is at number 2 now. I still don't think anyone's going to argue that, but this changed everything.
Yep.
This is a first of its kind thrill ride. Nothing that's ever been done. No one else has really tried to replicate this since, because no other company feels like they could figure it out safely. This became the definitive ride of this park to the point where they felt comfortable after like knocking down the hat and being like, well, we need a park icon. Tower of Terror, like there is no thrill ride that has ever been marked as the icon of a park. This is probably the only one that could ever get away with it. And then, like the minute California Adventure announced they were getting rid of theirs, everyone on Earth was like, if you touch Florida, we swear to God, Bob Chapek,
we will burn this place
find you
down.
and we will kill you. and so much to the point where he had to come on stage at Destination and he go, I like pickles, and I'm not going to close the tower. No, this is, I think, the golden age of Imagineering is the late 80s into early 90s, and this is when they knew, like, they had learned everything they could possibly learn. Some of those older guys were still around, and they had taught this second generation so well that they were able to take storytelling to a whole nother level where it is, you are fully enveloped in this thing from the moment you walk down the street, you begin the story. There's that billboard off to the side of the Trolley Car Cafe. And the story just starts as you walk down that street into the queue and
even the queue, like
an elevator, like the fact that they went up to Otis Elevators and they said, we can't do this. We can't make you an elevator that goes faster than gravity. And so they just had to be like, well, if an elevator company can't do it, then we'll do it. And Disney just did it. That's Imagineering, when a real company can't figure out your problem and you just engineer it
And
yourself.
talk about unique ride vehicles that never existed, where they had to build that from scratch. Like,
Yeah.
we want to move an elevator shaft where you can go forwards, backwards, left, right, and then have you thrown up and down in a
Yeah.
safe way.
Yeah, it wasn't just doing the faster than gravity thing for the first time. On top of that, they then like combined the technology behind the trackless ride and great movie ride to move the like if they had just done the faster than gravity drops, people would have been happy. But it was about like, we wrote the story first, and now we're gonna figure out how do you make the story real, and you just did it.
And like you said, I think it starts in the queue too, where like that's why it's so good. The queue builds this entire story, and then when you ride it, you're just wowed. And again, the technology, first of its kind at the time, changed the entire landscape. It's incredible. And I think as a park icon, like, it almost doesn't make sense if you know what it is. It's beautiful, and it looks very nice. It's visually appealing. I mean, that's not what Disney's Hollywood Studios is about, is this big hotel. It's gorgeous.
I will chain myself to the Tower of Terror. It really is like my top 3 favorite attraction ever.
Yep.
I listen to the background music all
Love
the
it.
time.
Me
It's
too.
my favorite
Me
loop.
too.
Love it.
It's so good, and what I love is that it's an actual collection of like top hits from the 30s and 40s. Like, it's just so good. The merch is good. I love that they still make Tower of Terror merch.
It's true. It's one of the few that is hung on.
For now, and it's usually good. I love it. Yes, I
like.
love
Can you
Tower of
have a
Terror.
private event in their lobby?
You
Because
can rent out the
so
lobby.
wanna do
Yeah.
that. I love
You
all
can.
of that.
It's also like the one time where the Disney
If they
Imagineering
let you, you can.
tried, yeah, that's right. Where they like try to make a building smaller than it actually is. It's taller, but they want it to look like it's 13 stories just to like stick with story. And I just think that's normally they want you with forced perspective to think it's so big, because it's it's 199, right? It's one of the tallest buildings.
199.
Yeah, but it looks from the outside like it's 13 stories because that's where the elevator goes. Is 13 stories. It's just so cool, and the fact that everyone kind of knows at this point, but like the paint, like, matches Morocco. So when you're in Epcot and you're looking through Morocco, it looks like the top of the Tower of Terror matches
Meanwhile, now
Morocco.
I'm standing in Toy Story Land and staring at the 2.
Yeah, it makes no
And
sense.
they used to care about sight lines, right? Yeah.
So how about that Tower of Terror movie though?
Oh no, we're not talking
We're
about
not
Steve.
going-
No Steve Gutenberg tonight. For another time. The Back to the Future we'll talk.
Yes. Stay
About. Anyone
tuned.
else down there? Tower of Terror? No.
I'm good. You guys said it.
Wow.
You said it. Great ride.
See?
Good job, boy.
It works.
Deserving of number 2.
It does its thing. It changed the world.
All right, number 1. I think we know what it's going to be. 1989, the Disney MGM Studios theme park opens.
Yeah.
What is that?
How is that a moment?
What is that?
How is that a moment?
It opened.
I know, and that's exactly, that's kind of understood. We wouldn't have this list if it didn't open. We wouldn't be doing the 30 greatest moments. Maybe that would have happened.
This board is literally all about the opening of the park.
But you can't have this
It has its
list
own
without the
board.
opening. It should not count as an event for the park. The park opened. Of course it's important. Where else on the list would this be?
Last time it was number 2.
See, that's ridiculous. That's insane. All right.
What was number 1?
Tower.
Oh.
But like, no one's bigger than that. The park just opening. But yes, go on, do the spiel, and then we can yell and scream. Yeah, go ahead.
You already yelled and screamed for everyone.
I'm going to skip some of this history for the sake of time. It's really long. Where are we? Oh, we got the Eisner story. We got Universal.
Yeah, it opened.
We got... oh, here we go. Michael Eisner announced plans for the Disney MGM Studios theme park to the public in 1985. Ground was broken on March 27, 1986, and the park's initial opening date was set for 1988, but the goal was far too unrealistic. Eventually, it was pushed back a year so more of the park could be built and completed. A tram tour was considered a necessity for the park. Tram tours had been a staple of Hollywood movie studios for decades, and in keeping with Disney tradition, Imagineers had to pick something to be a visual draw in the center of the park, and Disney picked the Chinese Theater, the famous movie house that premiered so many of Hollywood's great films. Unlike most attraction buildings, the theater had no forced perspective, so it could be taken in from any direction. The design of the building for the studios used the original building schematics as a guide and built the building to scale, which includes the exact copying of the lobby. In addition, Disney wanted to have its own Walk of Fame, and when the courtyard was being designed, the cement had to be slowly filled so that the stars could come in and make their lasting legacy permanent. On Monday, May 1st, 1989, the Disney MGM Studios opened its door to the public, and the fanfare gala associated with the opening was the most ever for a Disney World park. Despite persistent rain throughout the day, people flocked by the hundreds to experience Disney's newest creation. In fact, the parking lot closed an hour after opening, leaving traffic backed up for miles. The media covered the opening from different parts of the studio in front of different attractions. Streetmosphere characters kept the large crowds and long lines entertained. Draped in proper Hollywood glitz and glamour, the opening was hosted by a star-studded cast including Walter Cronkite, George Burns, Willie Nelson, Jane Fonda, Jimmy Stewart, Dick Van Dyke, President Ronald Reagan.
Hey!
Yeah, Ronnie.
We just happen to have him here in studio.
Thanks, Ron. Also opened Disneyland, by the way. British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and more. Actor John Ritter hosted the event and provided some humor after poking fun at the process that took place for the studios to become a reality. The show opened with a big musical number starring Smokey Robinson. It was a good launch as numerous dancers made their way down Hollywood Boulevard. Those chicks. Those dancing chicks, as Ron Logan would say. Yeah.
Them dames.
We needed chicks.
The Backstage Studio Tour consisted of a walking and tram tour of what is today, this was written by me a long time ago, it says Mickey Avenue. This is all out of date, I can't read any of this. The tour boarded at what today is the entrance to Star Wars Launch Bay, and if you ever entered this area, you'll notice the extremely large number of switchbacks and a rather massive queue space under a ceiling to keep guests safe from the Florida sun. Of course, this is rarely used now, but that was because it was meant for the Backstage Studio Tour. The original tour lasted 2 hours with a bathroom break for a period, and the trams would visit the Greens Department, Residential Street, New York Street, and Catastrophe Canyon. And along the way on Residential Street, guests were treated to views of exterior sets from Golden Girls, Empty Nest, Adventures in Wonderland, and Ernest Saves Christmas. Later, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, George of the Jungle, The Rocketeer, and Dick Tracy. Also on the tour, guests would encounter Herbie the Love Bug and the Dipmobile from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. At the conclusion of the tram experience, guests would take a break from the current studio at the then studio catering company to grab a bite to eat and could shop a selection at the adjacent store, after which they would continue with the second half of the tour, that guided walkthrough experience. Part of that, there were videos featuring Warren Beatty, the cast of The Cosby Show, George Lucas, Mel Gibson, some of this has an age 12, and Pee Wee Herman, attempting to explain how everything was done. In a short film produced at the Disney MGM Studios, The Lottery, starring Brett Midler, showed how everything came together. The final stop on the tour was the Walt Disney Theater, now home to Voyage of the Little Mermaid, where previews of coming attractions were introduced by a humorous interaction between Michael Eisner and Mickey Mouse. Of course, also on opening day, you had the Great Movie Ride, you had Superstar Television, the Monster Sound Show.
Loved all of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. You had Hollywood performing at the Theater of Stars, the Streetmosphere. It was.
When did Sorcery in the Sky come and go?
The next year.
Oh. That's what I was talking about when you guys were talking about Fantastic.
1990. No, Sorcery.
Wow. There you go.
I have a shut-off point where my brain stops working, and that was an hour
And that's
ago.
at 9 o'clock.
So.
This changed our vacation. I mean, I remember, being excited for a new park to open, and I think I don't know if we came in '88 thinking it was going to be open, because now you said that they thought at one time it was. I don't know, but I remember just being disappointed it wasn't open yet one trip. I don't know if I thought it would be or whatever. But then the first time we came, and it was like a game changer, because it was just something so different. And I think I was at the right age where it was just so cool for me to be able to explore a park like this, and then to have, just all the experiences that were so different than anything I could do at the Magic Kingdom or Epcot. So this totally changed the landscape of our Orlando vacations every year.
I don't know that it was that I loved this park from the beginning. I know I loved Great Movie Ride and I loved Star Tours. I enjoyed the tram tour. It wasn't something we did all the time just because it was so long. But I definitely did it several times as a kid. And I love, Yeah, I love Muppets. So they're definitely some of my favorite attractions, but at the time I was still very much an Epcot kid. And I don't know, obviously that eventually changed. Eventually I connected more with this park. And I told the story a million times. A great movie ride, and I ended up watching every movie that was in it. And that began like a whole road of watching like everything that TCM has ever aired.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
So my life changed later. Like I was a late bloomer for studios. Appreciated it much later in life, and there was just something. There was something about it. It was an exciting vibe. I just thought it always felt like an exciting park. Had a lot of good thrill rides. The other stuff just felt more energetic than some of the other parks. And I love some of the older stuff at Magic Kingdom, but I think, again, just most stuff in that park was developed between 89 and 94, and that is, I think, when they were at their absolute best. So I think that was a big part of it.
Yeah, I first went in, I think it was 91 or 92, and that was, it was the opposite for you. It became my favorite right away because I was a young kid who would write on his reports I want to be an actor, I want to be a stuntman, I want to do all these things, and to see the behind the scenes, I think changed my entire childhood. I wanted to be Indiana Jones in the Indiana Jones stunt show. I wanted to go have a director take cut and see the chairs and it just felt so cool. And it changed my childhood.
I wonder how many people it inspired. How many people went and saw how all that worked and said, I want to do that when I grow up. Yeah. And I loved it right out of the gate. And then it's changed for me too. I wasn't doing thrill rides when I was 7 years old, but as a teenager and in my young 20s, that's all you do is you just want to do the thrill ride. So this was the park that had that cool stuff. And then, as you grow up, things change. But right now, as you grow up, life is full of disappointment.
It's probably my least favorite part right now.
Everything you love will die, just so you know.
I just love the... oh my god.
What'd you say?
So that's basically life.
Yeah.
I just really love the era that it encompasses. In Magic Kingdom, you have Victorian stuff. You have the 50s of Tomorrowland, and then Epcot, you have just vague future.
Vague future.
It's Yesterdayland. It's 80s land.
But then here, you just have that golden age of Hollywood, and just that whole vibe. I've always liked it. The silver screen and the starlets and the jazz music, the art deco.
People used to dress up. They had the big band.
Well, and the funny thing is that the dedication plaque says it all, and it's not a Hollywood that was. It's the Hollywood we think existed. It was never real.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's the idea of Hollywood, and I think it just encompassed it so well.
Yeah, and this is the park that made all of us film buffs inadvertently or purposely or whatever. If it weren't for this park, would we I wouldn't have watched Aliens. I think I don't know Casablanca. Yeah, just become obsessed with Turner Classic movies, just all that stuff. And it was stuff that you wouldn't. I learned about this stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
It still has that edutainment aspect to it.
That's what I miss about about the park, is that it doesn't have that anymore except for the stunt show. The sound show was my favorite thing. Doing the I Love Lucy and then just doing the Foley and seeing how the clop, 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 clop.
It's funny, Monster Sound showing you how much of your life you spent in radio. Right?
Yeah, literally I did sound for film. I tried to get a degree in sound for film and went into radio because, that's what happened. But I don't know if that would have happened without this park. Without those rides, without that experience, without the TV. Would I have gone into TV? I don't know. They pick your name. I was a super shy kid.
And then
all
for
of a sudden
me
I'm
it
up
was
there doing
superstar
stuff.
blogging, and that inspired me to.
I even like the stuff people don't like Lights, Motors, Action.
Please leave.
No, I liked it. Again, that was for me as a guy in my teenager, young 20s. To see how they do the cars backwards and how they're really and jumping and the excitement. That was fun and exciting for a young guy.
Between the stunt when nothing happens.
But still, in Indiana Jones, they have the stuff where nothing happens, where they're explaining stuff, or
it somehow feels better in Indiana Jones. I don't know why.
It's basically the same concept of a show, just one's involving stunts and cars and one's people. It was neat. Everything to do with that behind the scenes and, like you said, edutainment. That's how the guy's not really driving backwards. I love that stuff.
I agree.
Yeah, it was a cool park.
Yeah, I gave my thing.
Well,
Eh?
Cameron, you were born.
We're talking like 2001 on here, but it's a great
It was
park.
all still there for the most part.
Yeah, there's a lot of it that I didn't experience, but the things that I do remember are very memorable. A lot of memories in that park. Star Wars Weekends is like a Disney highlight for me. Overall memories.
That's when you learned what Ewoks were.
Yeah.
And I just learned last night.
Yeah. We're all learning things.
Still learning.
No, great park.
It's a shame we lost so much of it. It
There's
really
a lot,
is.
yeah.
And there's a balance. Like, I know the parks are not museums, but I think there's a balance. And I don't think this was a balance. This was a massacre.
It was. They're changing the complete. Like, it's literally.
They should just built another. Ron Logan said it on Sunday.
Yeah.
He goes, "Why they knocked down half a park to build Star Wars Land? It should have been its own park."
Yes,
and I
100%.
think he's right. I don't disagree. And that's a man who fought with theme park operations for 25 years. Like, that guy, if he doesn't know, who does? Like, come on.
It's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a whole new park. You can't even call it a massacre. It's just it's like a hostile takeover. Like, it's just a brand new. It's a brand new theme. It's just we're gonna celebrate.
And every time you think they can't take anything away from you, then they put 3 circles on a screen. They're like, wait, we can hurt you more.
Have you guys ever seen block lettering?
3 hula hoops.
3 hula hoops. That was a great picture.
Oh man. But anyway, happy 30th birthday to what's left of Disney's Hollywood.
It's a whole new park now.
At least things will get exciting soon.
Hollywood.
Star Wars better be the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this was all for nothing.
What did it cost?
Toy Story
Yeah,
Land.
right. Just give up everything you love. A soul for a soul.
I'm soulless.
Tom
Soulless. There it is. All right, Nick, let's put this thing to bed, shall we? All right, and remember, kids, anything can happen in the movies. Good night.
We can